Time now to sit back and enjoy the action. It's Hearts against Aberdeen for a place in the Scottish Cup final with John Robertson, Willie Miller and Alistair Lamont.
Yeah, thanks again, Kenny. The first of two massive games at the National Stadium this weekend, and a fascinating battle in prospect this lunchtime, with Hearts looking to salvage something from a desperately disappointing season, and Aberdeen aiming to take something tangible from a much more positive campaign. Both sides have lost on their last 3 visits to Hampden. Which one of them will change that run this afternoon? The two teams going through the handshakes on the halfway line with their opponents and the officials, as Hearts are all in maroon today. Aberdeen in a change strip of all off-white, I think we'll call that, greyish. But a wonderful atmosphere inside Hampden. The Hearts end pretty much full. Looks like their allocation is all but sold out. Aberdeen with a few less, you would have to say, a lunchtime kick-off, and certainly not helping them on a Saturday afternoon, but nonetheless plenty decked out in red and white off to our right, hoping to enjoy their afternoon. And the assembled hordes through from Gorgie Way, likewise hoping to turn what has been, for the most part, disappointing campaign into something to smile about at the end, as Lawrence Shanklin gets a last-minute high five from his manager, and the best wishes from Neil Critchley, who really does need, you feel, a big result today in a big game. So much has been mentioned about Hearts' failure to win any of their big contests so far this season. Let's see if they can change that here in the semi-final, looking to book their place back here on the 24th of May against either Celtic or St Johnstone. It will be Aberdeen to kick us off, going from right to left as we look at it from the high up in the main stands here in the south side of Glasgow. We're up and running in what promises to be a really exhilarating encounter, and well, having watched both these sides last week, certainly Aberdeen starting on the front foot here and looking to make an immediate impact inside that Hearts penalty area. It's hacked away, returned by the impressive Dorrington. The 19-year-old on loan from Spurs has come in and made that right centre-back role his own in the last few games, and Aberdeen with an early throw-in over on the far side as Hearts look to try and keep them at bay.
Well, there's Keskin, and there's an example of what he wants to do early in the game. He just wants to hit that byline. He wants to take, you know, anyone in front of him on, and you know, he's pretty successful in doing it. So I think the early comments, or the comments before the match started, kicked off, it came to fruition very early in this game, but it is a long way to go, isn't it?
Mitov's giving it away to Devlin, and it's up to Kabangu in the edge of the box, left-hand side, dispossessed though by Dorrington, and Hearts are going to get the free kick though down near the corner flag over on that far side. In fact, it's just a throw-in, yeah, it's just a throw-in down near the corner flag. Thought initially John Beaton had pointed for a free kick, but Hearts, John Robertson getting some headway inside the Aberdeen half.
Yeah, both teams have managed to get down there and not tested anything as yet. As the ball
right into the box though, 6-yard box, headed away, and Aberdeen deal with that one. So vital that both sides don't give away anything cheaply early on, but an early goal could offer so much to either side, as it's Hearts coming forward, and it's James Wilson right hand side, plays it off Knuster, and Hearts will have the first corner kick of the game. John Robertson.
Yeah, that's what they needed to get the fans behind them, and as I say, it's exactly what we're talking about. Aberdeen have showed right away the wide areas that they're going to be dangerous. Hearts this time go over the full-backs into the channels, and Wilson draws the corner.
Yeah, and Shanklin's a problem. I think Shanklin will be a problem. He's playing in that number 10 slot. Two centre-backs have got 2 strikers to take care of. I don't see any of the 2 centre midfield players worried at all about Shanklin.
Right hand side, George Grant plays it back the way to Penrice on the angle of the box, left footed, curls it in towards the back post. Mitov's coming, not got there. Hearts, can they scramble it goalwards? Breaks out and just wide of goal. Oh, it was a huge cheer from the Hearts fans away to our left, who thought the ball had ended up in the back of the net, but alas for them, It was Jamie McCart, I think, who got the final shot away, as Shanklin was also looking to get involved after a mistake by Mitov, but it just goes wide of the far post. But the first chance of the game goes Hearts' way.
It's a massive chance. It's a well-worked corner. Aberdeen bring everybody back, and it's on actually to the edge of the box as well. It's played in there. There's an initial header. Mitov made a real hash of it. He's not played for a couple of weeks, so there, and it just dropped to McCart, and he's just lashed it past the post. But that's a big opportunity.
Yeah, it fell to Jamie McCart's right foot, and the connection he made wasn't a terrible one, but he just dragged the shot slightly. But Mitov certainly Willie not covering himself in glory there.
I honestly don't know what he's thinking about, because he comes out and he tries to punch it, but it's hip high. He's trying to punch it, misses it completely. Maybe gets a little bit on it.
There's a chance for Hearts, Willie. This ball here, because look, Shinnie's been dragged inside by Wilson. And the other two centre halves have asked him to come in, because Shanklin's pushing up. So there's an opportunity for Hearts to get their fullbacks in, because Keskinen is not tracking the fullback.
Mitov clears inside his 6-yard box. Up goes Steinvender, heads it forward. Shinnie gets his head to it, into the Hearts half it goes. Keskinen can't get onto it though. Knooster gets his head out to the left hand side. Shinnie will try and keep it in, managed to do so, and then headed out of play by young Adam Forrester, who's just extended his stay at Tynecastle, having made himself pretty much a first pick. I noticed that he's coming for a bit of criticism from the Hearts fans, and considering he's just 20 and been thrust into that role, John, it feels very harsh for a young man who's come into a team that's not performing well as a whole.
But that's what happens, unfortunately, when the team's not getting the results. The fans will pick out players, and the young lads come in and say he was supposed to play behind the likes of Taylor, and Taylor got injured, and then he's been thrown in, and then Odioki got sold at the death. So the young lad's come in, he's done fine. I mean, he's new to the first team. He's probably played 10-12 games more than he'd expected to play this season, but in the end, as well, I'll tell you, it'll not do him any harm.
No, it won't do him any harm, no. And if the managers get faith in him and he gets the opportunity, it's up to him to take the opportunity, John. That's what it is. Doesn't matter what age you are. I mean, what did you say, 20?
20, yeah.
My goodness, that's an age where you should be taking that opportunity.
Here he is hoisting it forward into the Aberdeen half. Shanklin trying to make something of it, can't bring it under control. Headed forward, a little bit tousy in the midfield at the moment. Clarkson can't bring it under control, and then a decent challenge there by Forrester on Keskinen. He will have his hands full there. I did think that the battle on the other flank between Shayden Morris, who's really come on to a game as a starter, Willie. We've often seen him operating as an impact sub, but he's now got that right wing berth to himself, up against one of Hearts' best players of the season in James Penrice.
Yeah, but he's got to be more consistent. You know, he is a very dangerous player. He's got pace to burn. As I said earlier, I don't see any fullback that is going to beat him for pace, but he just lacks that consistency.
Here's Penrice coming forward though, and Morris trying to track back. He hasn't managed to do so. Penrice into the area just over Kabangu. Aberdeen get it half clear, and then Nisbet just hacks it out of play for a throw in this near side. You have to say Hearts have started the better side in the opening 6 minutes.
Really well. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of start that they want. They're asking questions, the Aberdeen defence. Mitov obviously fumbled the first one. This time it's good defending. It's a good header away, but Hearts are making inroads with the full-backs and putting balls into the box, and as I say, they're asking questions early.
Forrester into the penalty area from the right-hand side. Out comes Mitov, and that's a cleaner catch, this time under no pressure, it has to be said, for the Bulgarian, who missed the last 3 matches with a shoulder injury suffered against the Republic of Ireland, playing for Bulgaria in the last international window, but back in place of Ross Doohan for this huge game at Hampden, as Shinnie gives it away in the midfield. It's a slack pass, but Ingame with a lovely little flick forward. Wilson out to Kabangu, edge of the box, left hand side. Can he get the shot away? Tries to get it across goal, I think, in the end, and then just comes off Dorrington, and Jensen in the right back position will pick up and then get it back to Dorrington, more or less in the goal line. Aberdeen looking to play out. It's Palaversa for Jensen, then Dorrington sweeps it forward up towards Nisbet, who gets there before McCart, but in steps Steinvender. Again, Shanklin can't bring it under control, and Aberdeen get it clear. But it was a lovely bit of play initially from Beningame with the flick forward for Wilson, and Kabangu just couldn't get a final shot away, John.
His first touch was poor. It's a good ball from Wilson, but his first touch gets caught under his feet, and the next one he's not quite got it out his feet, and he's closed down well by Aberdeen. But Hearts have got to take advantage of this. They're on top at the moment. They've got a wee bit of confidence about themselves, but they need to take advantage of it.
It was a poor pass though from Graham Shinney. I mean, he's under no pressure. He tries to find flaps, and it should be an easy. Oh, there's another one.
It's a terrible pass from Nisbet this time, and it's Wilson picking up again. Cabangu runs across him. Wilson retains possession. Aberdeen getting bodies back. Left hand side now. It's Penrice trying to check away from Morris. He's fouled, and it'll be a Hearts free kick. And as John's alluding to there, Willie, this is a moment in time where Hearts really have to try and capitalise on their early dominance.
Well, they're dominating the game, you know, and they're being helped in a substantial way. You know, Kevin Nisbet on that occasion, Graham Shinney just before that. Easy possession from both of them. Dreadful passes, giving the possession away and allowing Hearts the upper hand. They've definitely started the better side, that's for sure.
8 minutes in, no goals though at Hampden between Hearts and Aberdeen in the first Scottish Cup semi-final of the weekend. But Hearts with this free kick, it'll be taken over on the far side by Grant onto the penalty spot, away by Palaversa. Grant will pick up once more, about 15 yards inside the Aberdeen halves. A good looking ball out to the right hand side to Shanklin, who kills it on the chest, sweeps it into the area. Cabangu tries to turn it goalwards. Wilson also trying to get onto the end of it, and Aberdeen scramble it away. It's Nisbet who thumps it up towards the halfway line. It's all Hearts just at the moment, but Aberdeen just about keeping them at bay. Hearts pick up once more. Forrester closed down by Clarkson, but the Hearts fans getting right behind their side. It made such a positive start.
It's another chance. It's a great switch of play again. We said that Aberdeen been sucked in there, and it's a wonderful ball. We all talk about strikers know how to put a ball in the box. It's a great area. Cabangu gets in front, just doesn't get the connection as required, but as I say, Hearts are asking questions.
That's McCart going long this time. It's easily mopped up by Dorrington down to Palaversa and back to the right fullback Alexander Jensen. Tries to play it forward on the left foot. He's giving it straight to McCart. Some of the misplaced passes in these early stages from Aberdeen have been pretty woeful. Penrice doing well against Jensen down the left hand side, out to Cabangu on the left flank, teases it back in for Penrice into the area, tries to get it across goal. Clarkson's in the way. Another Hearts corner, and just listen to that roar from the Tynecastle faithful.
Yeah, it's all Hearts, but Morris called it. They're just
giving the ball away.
Aberdeen just keep giving the ball back to Hearts at the moment, and you know that there's a bit of confidence about Hearts at the moment, and it's Aberdeen look nervous, dare I say it, but as I say, it's important. If Hearts could get a goal whilst they're on top here, it could give them a huge lift.
They've won 3 of the last 4 meetings in the Scottish Cup. Hearts here, they're looking for an opening goal from George Grant's corner. Mitov takes that one well inside his 6-yard box, rising high and immediately bowling it out underarm for Graham Shinney to charge forward down the left flank. Aberdeen looking to try and make their own imprint on this semi-final. He just runs into Biringame in the end. John Beaton tells him to get to his feet, and play continues with Steinwender playing it into Forrester, momentarily switching positions as it's back to Craig Gordon, who'll be looking to get to another Scottish Cup final. He won the Cup in 2006 with Hearts, and also in 17 and 18 with Celtic. Aberdeen trying to string a few passes together. It's Keskinen bringing it forward. He just takes a heavy touch, still well challenged by Forrester, and it breaks for Shinney. Back into his own half he goes to Knuster, left hand side, closed down by Wilson, clips it forward, pretty aimless from the centre back. The Dutchman trying to get an instruction to his teammates, but it's just a poor pass, really.
Yeah, well, you know what, Al, I've maybe got to disagree with you there, because Papagay comes off. What does Nisbet do? I mean, Nisbet should be expecting that ball over the top. He should be making the long run. You know, I thought Knuster, he's got a sweet left foot. He dinks it into an area that should be disturbing Hearts, but unfortunately, you know, Nisbet decides to come back instead of running over the top.
Fair point. Here's Gay picking up midway inside his own half. He's giving it away to Devlin. Another horrendous pass in a dangerous area. Devlin gets it to Cabangu, left hand side, sends it into the box. Knuster gets his head to it before Shanklin can pounce. Clear as far as Grant, but Hearts absolutely the superior side in the opening 12 minutes. They haven't managed to get a goal yet. McCart's early effort just wide was their best chance thus far. They're building once more down the right hand side. It's Devlin getting it from Forrester and playing it into Grant, and you'd have to say that as much as a few of us were questioning how the diamond would operate for Hearts in the early stages tactically, they seem to be getting the better of Aberdeen.
Well, Al, if you remember, I did say that I was worried about that midfield area, and they certainly are dominating.
But what's not helping them, Willie?
No, it's Aberdeen.
Yeah,
Aberdeen
Clarkson
are bringing it on themselves. They're bringing it on themselves. They're not under any pressure. They're giving the ball away constantly. It's infecting the whole team.
If you look at the formations, though, as well, Willie, that Clarkson's dropping into the back four, which is great. Shankland just goes and picks him up. That means there's only one Aberdeen player there. And then, what's the problem? Guy and Nisbet are coming short right into where Benny Beningame is playing. So right now Aberdeen haven't worked out how to get their men on the ball. They've had one attack. Where did we expect it from? Wide, Keskinen going and running at somebody. Since then they've not got the wingers on the ball because they keep giving it away.
They've no control in the midfield though, John, have they? And they're lacking ideas in terms of how they can build it up, how they're supposed to be building it up. They're unsure, do they go directly up to the two strikers, or do they try to play it through the two sitting midfield players? And they're doing neither of them, and really Keskinen and Morris are not seeing the ball. They're not seeing anywhere near enough of the ball.
McCart plays it square to Steinbender. I was just watching Leighton Clarkson there. He's now trying to close down George Grant, but they are outnumbered in that central area, Aberdeen, as the ball's played forward by Forrester to Wilson, who also signed a new deal during the week. He's just run the ball out of play. He's claiming he was nudged over there, but the assistant was in a good position to assess that situation, and he points for the goal kick. We've played 14 minutes at Hampden. It's still Hearts 0, Aberdeen 0, but the Edinburgh side are certainly on top as things stand, as Jensen is put under pressure there from Devlin.
The problem is he's got no one to hit. There's no one looking for it. Two sitting midfield players don't know what to do. Nisbet is doing absolutely nothing up the top. He's just standing there. It's that body language that I was talking about. Papa Gay is a statue standing up the top as well. They have nowhere to play it. It's just been awful. You're talking first 15 minutes of this game, and I don't think I've seen Aberdeen play as badly as this, certainly this season.
Yeah, it's been a strange start, certainly, and they have been on pretty good form, unbeaten in their last 6. That's only one defeat in 10, and that came against Celtic, as they have resurrected a season that threatened to go awry. In fact, it was the win over Elgin in the 4th round of this that kind of almost revived it. Here's Morris though trying to make some inroads, and it will be an Aberdeen corner. First chance for them to really threaten Craig Gordon's goal, and wouldn't it be just like the thing if, having been under the cosh for the opening quarter of an hour, that side who have gone unpunished then go up the other end and score.
That shows their threat. Willie and I have spoken about it. I mean, Shane Morris gives Penrice about 3 yards there and just goes past them, and we've seen it Keskinen this side, but Aberdeen so far haven't worked out how to get it to their wide men.
Shinnie from the right hand side, preparing to swing in the left-footed corner. In fact, he goes short to Morris. Morris then tries to hit the byline again, manages to stand up into the area. It's Penrice who gets his head to it, to the left of the box. Wilson helps it on. Shinnie tries to keep it alive, but finds only Shankland, who hammers it forward over the halfway line. Mitov's come a long way out of his box. He's got to get this right. Well, he does enough certainly to get it over the halfway line and clears the danger, which might well have been troublesome, as Palaversa then turns it back to him again at the edge of his box. But Aberdeen trying the little inventive corner, it doesn't come to anything, as Jensen picks up right hand side. Just over 16 played at the National Stadium. Hearts 0, Aberdeen 0. Remember, we've got of course the second semi-final to come tomorrow. Before that we've got Falkirk at home to Raith Rovers in the Championship, as they could all but clinch that title with a victory this afternoon. Live commentary of that coming after this one, as Keskinen comes forward down the left hand side looking to take on Forrester, who gets a good toe in, but at the expense of a corner on this near side this time. Aberdeen left.
I struggle to understand why Graham Shinnie runs into the space that Tofi Keskinen is wanting to occupy. He shouldn't be anywhere near going in ahead of Keskinen. He's got to allow Keskinen on a 1v1 situation to take on Forrester, and he just blocks the whole thing up by doing that. Eventually he checks out of it and gets himself back to the park. That's what he should be doing, just backing up Keskinen. It's turning a little bit for Aberdeen. They're beginning to get a little bit of control, but it's just been an awful start from them.
Clarkson in the corner, left hand side, right footed into the 6-yard box, hit and goal once it's in, and it's Aberdeen who take the lead. And it's Papagay who has risen highest to head home. Looked to come off the crossbar initially, but Papagay goes and celebrates in front of the stunned Hearts support over on that far side. And Aberdeen, having been second best in the opening 17 and a half minutes, have the lead at Hampden. It's Hearts 0, Aberdeen 1.
Well, it's a brilliant delivery, first and foremost, and then you've got Papagay. He is probably, well, he's the tallest striker, that's for sure. He might even be taller than some of the centre backs, and he's not picked up, and he gets a clear header at it. What, maybe 6 yards out, a little bit less than that. It hits the crossbar, comes back down off of the back of Craig Gordon and into the back of the net. He's running from deep, he's not picked up. I just can't understand. They must have a set piece specialist that identifies who at set pieces should be picked up. Papagay's got to be one of them. On the other hand, it's a brilliant goal from him. It's well taken from Clarkson too. And it ends up in the back of the net. I don't know what's going on now, but there's something happening out there with John Beaton and a couple of the players.
They're having a look at it, but I think they're talking about Craig Gordon being infringed by Keskinen, but it's not. It's not. It's a goal. It's an OG, unfortunately. The guy is not going to get it. It's going to be Craig Gordon's own goal. There's nothing he can do about it. But Jamie McCart has to match Papagay. He has to match Papagay. At the end of the day, he's got there. That's his job. But Papagay's got above him really well. It's a great header. It's unfortunate. It's hit the bars, come down, and completely against her on a play. Aberdeen are ahead, but that's what happens in football. If you don't, we said Hearts at the time had to take advantage, and that gives Aberdeen a huge boost.
Yeah, well, I did suggest it would be just like the thing if Aberdeen were to go up the park and score, and that is exactly what they've done. It will go down as a Craig Gordon own goal. Papagay with a towering header off the crossbar comes down and hits the left knee of the helpless Craig Gordon at that point and bounces into the net. There was a quick check by VAR for potential offside, but it never looked likely, and indeed the goal is given, and Aberdeen have that goal advantage. I
think they were looking at interference on Craig Gordon, but Keskinen starts on him to disrupt him, but moves away, and there's no chance that's getting out road, and it come down to who wanted it most, and Papagay got there and he bulleted a header. It's unfortunate for Hearts that it's gone in off Craig Gordon, but you know, it was a wonderful delivery. Again, we talk about ask questions. Hearts have put balls in the box, and McCart had the chance to score, and then this time Papagay's got there.
Clarkson brilliant in those set pieces. You know, whether he's going for goal, whether he's just picking a player out as well, and it's a really difficult one to defend. Absolutely. Craig Gordon maybe could have done a little bit better coming off his line. Don't think at this stage of his career he's that impetuous to do that, but at the same time it's a well worked goal for Aberdeen. It's turned the game round, because if you know, we have said they've started so poorly.
Here come Hearts though, looking to respond immediately. It's Grant out to Cabango, and now Penright's left hand side, cross blocked by Jensen. It will be a throw in only down near the corner flag. That was Papagay's 9th goal of the season, not long back from a long-term injury, and he's got a couple now in the Scottish Cup, also scoring against Dunfermline, but that was a big one, albeit, as we say, it probably will go down as a Craig Gordon own goal ultimately, because it wasn't going to end up in the back of the net. So Papagay, as much as he would like to claim it, Craig Gordon certainly won't want it, but I'm afraid he's in the official record book's going to have it, as Shanklin almost gets in front of Palaversa in that penalty area. The ball came in from the right hand side from Wilson, but couldn't turn it goalwards. And after 21 and a half minutes, it's the Aberdeen fans who have found their voice, because their side lead by a goal to nil.
Well, they have, fortunately. Listen, it is a good goal, it's good delivery and a great header from Papagay, but everything before that was just as bad as it could have went for them. But they've turned this game round, and we all know that goals makes a difference, but they've got to sort it out. They've got to, from an Aberdeen point of view, they've got to find a way of building this game up, and I just don't see what Kevin Nisbet is offering at this moment in time. He's wandering about. I don't think he knows himself what he's supposed to be doing in that number 10 slot. He's certainly not doing much, you know, threat coming off, looking for it, to take possession of it, and there's no threat from him either going the other way when Papagay drops off. So for me, Kevin Nisbet's just wandering about.
It looks to me really like it when they lose the ball that he's been asked to drop on top of Beningame, which is allowing Clarkson or Paul Versa to go and pick up Lawrence Shanklin, but that allows Hearts to get the opposite, to get down the flanks. But you're right, it's his body language. You're looking for somebody to be busy, even if he's busy in there, buzzing about, but he's loping about in there. But the goals come completely against the run of play, but that's probably puts in perspective where both teams are at the moment. Hearts dominated and then lose the goal, and Aberdeen not quite at it, but I've got the confidence to go up the park and strike first.
Clarkson tries to switch the play to Morris, who nods down to Jensen, coming forward now midway inside the Hearts half, right hand side. Across goes Devlin to try and close him down. It goes back the way to Palaversa, right hand side, coming in towards the centre circle. Back to the halfway line he goes, and then plays it back to Knuster. Knuster will just turn it back to Mitov, the edge of his box. Wilson will try and close him down. Mitov makes the pass forward to Nisbet, who has dropped off there, and gets the ball out to the right hand side. And that's the kind of thing you're looking for from him, as it's played forward in search of Nisbet. It was cut out, but I think Palaversa was fouled as he tried to play it forward, and it will be an Aberdeen free kick about 5 or 10 yards inside the Hearts half, and Palaversa stayed down as a result of that challenge, just holding his ribs by the looks of it. Back to his feet now as John Beaton goes across to make sure he doesn't need any treatment.
I mean, if anything, it's a heavy fall. I didn't see.
It's just Lawrence Shankland's just run into him, give him a wee bit of a bump.
Devlin, maybe two of them.
No, Devlin's doing it.
No, Forrester.
I think Cammy Devlin's guilty by intent. Normally it is Cammy Devlin, but it's a coming together. Goodness sake, it's nothing major, but again allows Aberdeen a chance to deliver again.
Does Clarkson on the set pieces again, as Willie says, his delivery is often on the money, as it was for the goal. Fires it forward, and Knuster wins the header down to Keskinen at the edge of the box. It goes back the way to Shinnie and out to the left to Papagay, heavily involved in the opening goal on the left hand side. Just back heels it now to Dorrington, who's a good technical centre back, you'd have to say, in terms of his ability to play with the ball. He had a great run at the byline against Rangers and set one up for Kevin Nisbet, who should have scored and probably put the game beyond Rangers last weekend. Here's Keskinen picking up possession, edge of the box, takes it on his left foot, drags it all the way across goal and wide, and it will be a goal kick to Hearts. 25 minutes in, it's Hearts 0, Aberdeen 1.
He's got great intentions, Topi Keskinen, but when he gets there, he just lacks that quality, that final touch to his game. John, when he gets into a situation like that, hit the target.
I know that you've said this many times on Open All Mics, but I love the fact that his first thought is, how can I get a shot? How can I get a cross? How can I cause problems for, which is brilliant. And okay, you've alluded to it in the past as well. His final product is not always there, but he's a real threat, and you don't want to ever take that off him. He just gets the ball and goes.
Here's Nisbet knocking it forward. Morris will chase that. He might get there before Craig Gordon. He's gone round Craig Gordon. He needs to get back. Left hand side. Morris clips it into the area. Gay was close to getting it, but Devlin did a brilliant defensive job to get there first. Recognised the danger, got back, got his head to it. Otherwise, Aberdeen were 2 up.
Big chance. Craig Gordon started and he stopped. He wasn't sure, then he came. Morris done well, and I tell you what, it's brilliant defending from Cammy Devlin, because
fantastic.
it was a good pick out from Shaden Morris. And this is that goal's giving Aberdeen a lift. They're starting to get a foothold in this game now and looking far more dangerous, and Hearts have just they've just dropped off a little bit. It's been a blow to them. It just shows you how goals can change games very, very quickly.
Devlin over the top looking for Wilson. Knuster gets his head to it and gets it clear to Palaversa. Kabangu just goes into his back, but there's no foul, and Hearts pick up, and it's Beningame for Wilson just inside the area, cuts back inside. Clarkson comes across, read the danger well, and eventually runs it out of play, but does avoid the initial danger. Good covering from the creative midfielder, but he knows his defensive duties as well.
That's the second goal, by the way, if Devlin doesn't get his head on it. And what about Morris? What about his pace?
Yeah,
it takes everybody by surprise. I don't know why. Maybe they don't watch him every week. I certainly do.
And it goes to Grant, angle of the box, right hand side, no foul as it breaks to Beningame. Back the way he goes to the edge of the centre circle. It's McCart out to the left hand side now to James Penrice, takes a touch and then flips the cross in. It's over Grant, comes to Shankland, big chance for Shankland, goal! Through the legs of Mitov, and Lawrence Shankland with a fabulous, fierce finish equalises for Hearts. A massive moment in this semi-final. A deadly strike from a deadly striker. Just a fifth of the season for him. But when it broke to him, you did not doubt it was going to hit the back of the net. It's Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
Well, it's a lack of communication with Aberdeen, because Shinnie gets dragged in again with James Wilson. Shanklin just sidles round the back, and as soon as it dropped onto his chest, he's lashed it in. And to be fair, it's no more than Hearts deserve over the piece. But you see here, Wilson gets dragged in, Grant drags Shinnie. Why he's going for it, I don't know, because the other centre-half's got under control. Shinnie goes in, makes a stupid challenge, but Shanklin has drilled it in, and wow, we've got a semi-final on now.
Graham Shinnie, captain, experience, I don't know, brain fog, I don't know what's going through his mind. He just has to stay with Shanklin, but Shanklin's his man. He just rushes in. I think there's 2, maybe 3 Aberdeen jerseys in front of him going for that header, and he just gets in the way. Actually, he actually just gets in the way, and it falls to Shanklin, and he's deadly in that range, isn't he? Well finished goal.
Well, he's found goals hard to come by this season, but there just seemed to be absolutely no way he was going to pass up that chance. Good first touch to control it, and then he lashed it through the legs of Dimitar Mitov, who could have done little to keep it out. Such was the ferocity of the strike from close range. And Lawrence Shanklin, the Hearts captain, back in the starting lineup, and does what he is paid to do, and levels things up for Hearts. Did you say, John? On the balance of play, Hearts at least deserve to be on level terms.
Yeah, listen, it's a good game. Let's be honest. Normally we talked that sometimes dour, sometimes sturdy, but what's made this a game is the formations. Neither team are willing to bend at the moment, and both teams are creating havoc against the other team in attack.
Here's Papagay trying to do exactly that. Left-hand side of the box, just overruns it, but it might come to Morris. Morris, left-hand side of the penalty area, has to spin away. George Grant gets a good foot in and knocks it out for a throw-in in this near side, about 10 yards from the corner flag. And Morris will just leave it to his captain Graham Shinnie, who will look back at that Hearts equaliser.
I think at the moment, the problem for both defences is they can't cope with both attacks. Aberdeen in the wide areas causing problems. Hearts coming through the middle with the extra man overloading in there. Shanklin dragging Shinnie in. Aberdeen have no one. So it's playing out for a good game, and it's going to be the team who sorts it out defensively that's going to prevail.
Yeah, it's been a really good opening half hour. One apiece it stands between Hearts and Aberdeen. The two sides who have jousted for the most part for third place in the Premiership over the last few seasons. Aberdeen still a big chance of doing that this campaign. Hearts, of course, will be 7th at very best, but they will appease their fans somewhat if they can clinch a Scottish Cup final place against either Celtic or St Johnstone. That game to come tomorrow, live with us here on Sportsound on BBC Radio Scotland. But a really intriguing hour or more to come here this afternoon as Keskinen picks up left-hand side to run at Grant, who occupies the right full-back position, almost comes all the way through to Morris on the right side of the box, but Penrice gets it clear, and Shanklin then knocks it down to Devlin. Penrice's move forward and he crosses the halfway line. Does Morris want to go back and defend? Penrice slips it forward for Kabangu, left-hand side of the box, tries the early ball and can't get it. The offside flag is up in any event against the striker, but he's claiming, I think the ball was maybe overhit to him, but he was offside, and the attack comes to nothing. What a piece it remains.
It's a poor run. Aberdeen have just kept a nice. What he's got to do is peel a bit wider, look along the line, and just take the pass a bit shorter there. He's just ran blind, and it's good play. Young Dorrington there just shouts over to you, just step up. He's offside, easily dealt with, but that was again a chance for Hearts to move on. But wow, that's a fantastic opening half hour of this game.
Kabangu looked like a real find when he came in initially, John. Has he just shaded his performances out of late?
No, I think when he first came in, it was a sort of 4-3-3, playing right up through the middle on his own, which he seemed used to doing with Wilson on the right and Shanklin just behind him. But he's kind of, it's the old-fashioned two strikers up playing against the centre backs, playing in the channels. And I think if you get him in there, you had a chance early on. His first touch let him down, but he's a threat coming in from that left-hand side.
Here's Jensen on the halfway line, right-hand side for Aberdeen. One apiece at Hampden as Devlin snaps away at the ankles of Jensen and fouls him, and then just shoves him to the ground for good measure. and the free kick is awarded in Aberdeen's favour. And Devlin getting involved also with Palaversa. He's never one to shy away from a confrontation, is Cammy Devlin, but really important player in that Hearts midfield, tenacious to the last as Aberdeen prepared to take this free kick over on the right hand side. John Beaton just chatting to Jensen here. I'm not quite sure what the delay in taking the free kick is. I think John Beaton maybe wants a word with Cammy Devlin, and then wanders away. So the free kick can be taken now, just inside Aberdeen territory over on that far side. 12 minutes to the break. 1 goal each. Aberdeen going ahead with a Craig Gordon own goal, but Lawrence Shankland equalising a few minutes ago for Hearts as Birmingham. He tries to get them forward and does well to get that to Shankland, who'll try and tease it forward out to the right hand side for Wilson. Does well to keep it in. Across comes Knuster, makes a sliding challenge and knocks it out of play for a Hearts throw-in.
Yeah, again, Shankland just drifting that area, causing Aberdeen problems, and young Wilson showing, for such a young lad, only 18, just bending his run in between the centre back and Shinnie at left back there, and he's giving them a problem. But no, it's a very, very intriguing tactical battle with both teams doing really well going forward.
Here's Forrester, just lifts it forward looking for Grant, but Aberdeen get it clear. Jimmy Tillene and Neil Critchley prowling around at the edges of their technical areas down below us. As Hearts have a throw-in midway inside the Aberdeen half, right hand side, as Hearts come forward to be taken by Forrester, back the way to Steinwender. Steinwender closed down by Gay. He'll just turn and go back to his goalkeeper Craig Gordon, clad all in yellow, who immediately plays it out to McCart at the edge of his box. Back with Gordon once more just outside his 6-yard area. Plays it into the feet of Cammy Devlin, who will just send it back out to Steinwender, right hand side, midway inside the Hearts half. Thinks about the direct pass, then thinks better of it, goes back in field to McCart, who's still about halfway inside his own half. Then he goes a bit longer. Wilson will go and contest that, but beaten to it by Knuster, helped on by Palaversa. Again, Hearts win the second balls though, and it's picked up by Grant. Again, the Hearts fans try and rouse their side, looking to turn this game round. Forrester, was he caught there by Shinnie? Yes, he was. The assistant, the assistant initially flagged. I thought he was flagging for a foul by Shinnie, but actually John Beaton's given it, I think, for a handball by Forrester as he grabbed it as he went to ground.
That's a nonsense. It's a free kick all day long. Shinnie's left his trailing leg in there and brought down Forrester. How that's not a free kick for Hearts, I don't know. John, the assistant referee's 2 yards away, and he called it as a foul.
I think he did, yeah,
to Hearts, and John Beaton's overruled him. It's a shocking decision from John Beaton there.
Hopefully get another look at that challenge, but I have to say my instinct was to agree with what you're saying there, Rob. Here we go.
Yeah, I think there was contact, wasn't there? I don't think Graham Shinnie got the ball, any of the ball, and his trailing foot came through and catches Forrester in the ankle.
Yeah, he's pretty hard done by there, Forrester, who's taking a sore one for his troubles, but the free kick does go Aberdeen's way, midway inside their own half, and launched forward by Mitov. One in the air by McCart, and out of play on this near side for a throw into Aberdeen once more, just in front of Neil Critchley. 5 yards or so into the Hearts half, left hand side. Shinnie preparing to take one apiece with 9 minutes left in this opening half, which has been non-stop action. Aberdeen getting the early advantage, having been poorer of the two sides in the opening stages, as Keskinen's penalised for a barge in the back of Forrester. And this time the Hearts players get the free kick, and it'll be taken by Craig Gordon. Comes out to this near side to take.
You know the throw in there, John, and it's a dead simple throw in. It goes way back in time when you don't see a player that you can throw it to get control. You've got a big number 9 there, a big Papa Gay. Just throw it down the line and let him flick it on and get Keskinen in behind. You know, I don't know why.
I think teams overthink it at times, really. You know what I mean? You say keep it simple. You've done it before. It's just gain territory.
Here's Wilson down the right for Hearts. Across comes Dorrington with him, tries to play it off him for a corner. It doesn't work out that way, but Clarkson's giving it back to Shankland down near the corner flag on the right hand side. Shankland, good play, gets it back to Devlin just inside the penalty area. Back with Shankland, just seen out of play in the end by a combination of Dorrington and Shinnie, who got themselves in front of Shankland, who momentarily looked to be in with a potential chance to get another shot away, but the two Aberdeen defenders doing better this time than they did at the goal.
Yeah, he's crowded out this time, but again, you wonder if Devlin could have just flung it in there. But as I say, it's both teams don't look overly confident at the back when the opposition team get in the last third. As I say, but I was still, Hearts have certainly had the better of the game so far, but there's no doubt Aberdeen are a threat. But Willie's right, the front two, it's not like one's right through the middle, one's dropping off. They just don't seem to be connecting, Willie.
Yeah, and Papagay's a big unit there, and he scored a great header, but anything that's thrown up to him, he tends not to win it, which on that occasion Nisbet's running behind hoping that he does get the little flick on, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be a combination. I don't think there is a connection up top in the minds for these two, and certainly Kevin Nisbet, I think, is uncertain what his role is.
Here's Birmingham getting out to Grant on the right hand side. Lovely little ball forward for Wilson. Early ball into the box. Kabangu trying to get it back into Shankland, and he succeeds only in passing to Morris. That was another really good opening for Hearts. Some good initial play, but ultimately the final ball wasn't good enough from Kabangu, and the chance is gone, and Aberdeen have a free kick as they tried to break forward. We've played 38 minutes here at Hampden, almost 39, and it's still Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
It's a wee half chance. It's just behind Kabangu there. He's gone in. He's hoping that the ball is going to be played in front of him and he can perhaps slide into the net. It's just behind him. He's trying to control it and lay it back. Couldn't quite get there. But dearie me, this first half is absolutely flown in. But you see, he's hoping it's in front. He's managed to do well to get in front of the defender, but he just can't manage to pick out Lawrence Shankland.
It's an open game, isn't it, John? And it's going from end to end as well. Good entertainment.
Shinnie into the box, a good looking ball, and Steinwender could take no chances. He heads behind for an Aberdeen corner, and this is where they got the opening goal from. The left hand side, a Clarkson delivery, and that's exactly what he'll try and replicate here, you would imagine. Leighton Clarkson, who scored that fabulous free kick at Pittodrie last weekend, the creator of the opening goal here this afternoon. Can he repeat the feat with 5 minutes remaining in the opening period? Aberdeen get just about everyone forward.
This is the warning for Hearts here. They've gone zonal. It looks like they've gone zonal along the 6-yard line, and that's what happened. Papagay got a run on McCartney last time. He's awful narrow. I think he's got to come out a couple of yards, start maybe on the 6-yard line.
Clarkson goes near post this time. Who got the final touch to that? Lawrence Shankland in the eyes of John Beaton, who points for another corner kick, again to be taken by Leighton Clarkson, who just tried to mix it up there. I wonder if he'll put this in a similar area to the one from which Papagay got the crucial header for the opening goal. No, he goes back the way to Shaden Morris, changes the angle and tries to get it into the box. Devlin, though, has closed him down and then sprints forward to try and get onto the loose ball, but Jensen's there well ahead of him and turns it back to Mitov. But curious, Willie, as to why. Oh, here's Wilson picking up a loose ball from Mitov. He's got Devlin in the box, he can't pick him out. Shinnie's there, Devlin goes down, nothing given. Birmingham now out to Wilson, right hand side, gets to the byline. There is a check on for a potential penalty for the challenge on Devlin by Shinnie. It will be initially given, I think, as a goal kick, but
I tell you what, it's worth a look, because it looked like the Hearts player might have got there in front, possibly not. As you see, you don't
Checks
know.
Over. No penalty.
The Aberdeen player must have got the ball first, which is important. But what a chance for Hearts again on the break.
Yeah,
Aberdeen
Mitov is, what's he thinking about?
Yeah.
In terms of it, he looks nervous, Mitov, when the ball's at his feet whenever it's been played back to him, and he presents Hearts with an opportunity. I thought Shinnie got there first, John.
Yeah, here come Hearts again though. It's Grant looking for Shankland at the back post, falls for Jensen out to the right hand side for Aberdeen. 3.5 minutes left of this opening period. Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1, but Hearts will rue some missed opportunities if they ultimately don't come out on top. We've got a throw in over on the far side, about 15 yards inside the Aberdeen half. Left hand side for Hearts as they look to finish the half as they started it, which was on top, although they did fall behind. Here's Shankland though, he'll put it into the area, away by Knuster, comes to Devlin, gets it back to Shankland, doesn't quite break for him, and Shinnie clears up towards the halfway line, but no Aberdeen players up as far as that, as Steinwender takes easy possession and gets it to Grant, and now it's Forrester midway inside the Aberdeen half, right hand side, back to Grant, who just plays it into McCart in the centre circle. Plenty of time and space to think about his next move. Penrice is outside of him. Here he is, left hand side, right on the touchline, feeds it forward for Cabangu. Across comes Jensen to try and deal with him. Cabangu just shuttles it back to McCart, who plays it square to Steinbender, just inside his own half. Plays it back to the left to McCart, who had that big chance inside the opening 3 minutes. Just dragged it wide. He goes long, looking for Cabangu. The header comes to Penrice. Penrice tries to move it forward, but again Aberdeen clear the lines, and it's Gay looking to link with Keskinen. But a defending here. Oh, Keskinen taken down by Steinbender. What's the card coming here? Red card!
No,
Steinbender. Midway inside the Hearts half, Steinbender with a last-ditch attempt to win the ball. Keskinen got there first, down he goes, and the referee produces a straight red. It will be checked, but John Robertson, you don't agree?
I don't think so. I think that he's 40 yards out. There's two covering defenders. It's a tight call, yellow card, and move on. It will be checked, but John Beaton couldn't get his red card out his pocket quick enough there. And it will be checked. Listen, Keskinen does brilliant. He really does well to get onto it. But the question here is, are the covering defenders going to stop Keskinen getting through and goal? Now we know he's quick, but it's a big call. Do I see it being overturned? Probably not, because I don't see it as a glaring error. But
it's a horrible challenge, John.
It's a poor challenge.
Steinbender, he doesn't have
the red
to go
is going to stand.
Challenge. He doesn't have to go into it. Keskinen's away. He takes none of the ball at all, and it's a goal scoring opportunity, albeit it's a bad tackle. That,
do you know what? It might not even just be for obvious denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity.
When you see that's all it is. That's the only decision it can be. Is he denying a goal scoring opportunity? Now the question is, can Forrester get round to catch Keskinen? Probably not. And I don't think Penrice on the other side is going to get there. So, you know, that's the aspect of it. John Beaton got his card out very quickly.
Yeah,
it's not going to be overturned. And Hearts have it all to do now. Now Hearts do need the half-time whistle just to regroup.
Yeah, they've got to regroup. They've got to make sure they see the closing stages out here as Clarkson. It's a poor free kick from him for once, and he just lifts it forward. Well, the Hearts fans booing the decision presumably, but Willie, I think looking back at it, I mean, as you say, it was quite a fierce challenge in itself, regardless of whether it was denying the obvious goal scoring opportunity. But I think that is what he's been sent off for.
Yeah, the other side of it, I think what you were trying to say, Al, is it was a dangerous play and endangering an opponent, and really it was. When you watch it, he's nowhere near the ball. He's taken Keskinen's ankle with studs as well. We'll have to wait to see what the referee gave in terms of but I would agree with John. He was very quickly with the red card, out. But
I think ultimately, now that we've seen it, it is a red card.
Yeah.
It's for denying a goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the maliciousness, but could you argue he's out of control? To a certain degree, yes, but the red card's for denying a goal scoring opportunity. Now, one thing, if Hearts can see this through to half time, they've got plenty. They've got Frankie Kent, Stephen Kingsley, and Craig Halkett.
Come on, I think, just
so
now.
all of them can go in and play there, but they've got to get to half time now. They can't allow Aberdeen to score before half time, before they get the chance to recruit, because I think even Kent coming on, they might have to sacrifice a forward here. They may just go 4-4-1 potentially. It's going to be a difficult one, 4-3-2. But I think maybe James Wilson may be the one that's sacrificed for. Although they could, I suppose, Cammy Devlin could come off, or Beningame, probably Devlin if it was one of the midfield men. But they've just got to see this out now.
We're into 2 minutes of stoppage time as Aberdeen come forward. It's a dangerous ball in there from Jensen, who evades everyone. Nisbet manages to keep it in, but nothing more than that, and Wilson just whacks it clear to the halfway line. Just seconds remaining in this first period. Frankie Kent was stripped, but I don't think he's going to come on before the interval. I'm not sure we're going to get a break and play before the interval, for that matter, as Dorrington picks up. Aberdeen looking to try and get their noses back in front though before the break. Jensen, another ball into the box. This time it's defended by Forrester, who's just slipped into that centre back role for the moment. And there is the half-time whistle with the boos ring out from the Hearts fans, presumably not happy with the decision by John Beaton to issue Steinbender with the straight red card just a couple of minutes before the half-time whistle for denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity to Topi Keskinen, who nipped in and looked like he might well have got in on goal But it was a dramatic first half. Even before that, Aberdeen taking the lead, having been on the back foot for much of the opening 17 or 18 minutes, but they got the goal when a Clarkson corner was headed at goal by Papagay, came crashing off the crossbar, down and hit Craig Gordon on the left knee and bounced into the net to give Aberdeen the opening goal. The response came 10 minutes later as Penrice picked out Shanklin at the back post. He took one touch on the chest to control it and then slammed it beyond Dimitar Mitov. That was an end to the goal scoring, but not the drama, as that red card came just a couple of minutes before the break. Keskinen winning possession, dashing through on goal, brought to the ground by Michael Steinwender, and out came the red card. So Hearts will play the second half with 10, but an exhilarating first period at Hampden finishes Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
The Scottish Cup.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Where Scottish football lives.
We said it would be a tough one to call this afternoon. The guys were predicting it would be very tight. My goodness, Steve McGinn is alongside me in the studio. What a fantastic first half. So much to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we expected a good game, different styles, different tactics, but it was everything we could have wanted and more. Goals, excitement, red card right at the end. It's been a brilliant advert for the game.
John, talk to us then about the Hearts' performance in that first half. What's worked for you?
Well, we talked at the top of the show about the tactical aspect of it. Aberdeen with the wide men, sort of 4-4, with Nisbet and Guy, one going 9, one going 10, mixed it up. But Hearts, they said Hearts could dominate the centre of the park. That's what they've done. The way they've been very clever is they've managed to get Wilson and Cabango in between the full-backs and centre-backs, and it's dragging Shinnie and Jensen in, and that's allowing Hearts to go down the channels, and their full-backs are going to put lots of good crosses in. They could have been ahead early on. Jamie McCart smashed one just wide, and Cabango, Shankland haven't quite just got on the end of stuff. They've asked questions of Aberdeen defence. They've got the equaliser. Shinnie's a rush of blood. He's gone in there trying to win a header that he doesn't need to do. He can let his centre half deal with that, but he goes in, it goes over his head, and Shanklin bullets at home. And at that time, that was the very least that Hearts deserved, because apart from the goal, which again, it's a wonderful delivery, it's a wonderful header, but Hearts again will be feeling sorry for themselves because it's crashed off the bar, it's come out, Craig Gordon, and gone into the back of the net. And that's Aberdeen's only real effort at goal. Yes, there's a decent cross from Morris, it was well defended by Devlin, but Hearts have been all over Aberdeen first half by a far majority of the possession. The formation they're playing is working better because Clarkson's dropping deep the ball, so he's just dropping right onto Shankland. Beningham's patrolling in front, and Nisbet and Guy are taking turns coming into his area, so he's just picking them up, but still leaves them 2v1 in there. So Hearts will be, the red card right in the interval could be massive. It could be huge now, because yes, when you slow it down, you look at it, Keskinen's through. Are Forrester or Penrice going to get back to him? Doubtful, and so therefore it's a red card. But he was very, very quick to give it, and once he gave it, I didn't see enough to be overruled. There's not a clear and obvious error, so therefore Hearts going to now. They've got plenty on the bench. Kent, Kingsley, and Halkett. It looks like Kent's going to come on. It's who did they let go? Is it maybe Wilson? They may go Cabango up front with Shankland. I can't see him take Shankland off. Wilson and Cabango's pace could cause problem in this kind of 4-3-2 and give up the full-back areas. So, Neil Critchley has a huge decision to make, and he'll be scratching his head because his team have played very, very, very well today and deserve to be in front on chances and possession and general play, but they're level, and unfortunately they're down to 10 men.
John, it's interesting because we spoke a lot before the game about Neil Critchley, as I said, with a Hearts fan on, very passionate last weekend, of course, with the huge disappointment not making the top 6. Watching Neil Critchley on the touchline today, I don't know how much you can see from your vantage point there in the gantry. He's been very, very animated today. He knows this is a huge game, and as you say, his side up until that sending off performing so well.
Yeah, everybody does. We said that before the match. That Hearts' failure to get to the top 6 means that everyone's been on a bit of downer. They've had a couple of weeks to lick their wounds, and they have to come back here and perform. It's as simple as that. And there's a huge Hearts support through here. They're wanting them to get to the cup final, and the fans have been magnificent. They've been right behind them all the way. And I say it was a bit of a shock that they went 1-0 down and freakish circumstances in the end, but they battled back, they showed character, they kept going. They're rushing Aberdeen back four in midfield in particular to keep giving the ball back to Hearts with the extra men in midfield, and they've gone forward, they've put balls in the box. The quality of the cross at times hasn't quite been there. It was for the goal, but they've had chances. The same with Carr, and Kabangu's had half a chance if he gets the ball at his feet. One nearly fell to Lawrence Shanklin in the box as well, and so Hearts will be delighted. Had it stayed 11v11, Hearts would be going. Neil Critchley would be saying at half time, same again, absolutely same again, keep going, they're giving us the ball back, let's go and hit them in the counter, let's go and get in behind them with the pace of Kabangu and Wilson. However, that red card changes everything. Hearts are going to have to now look at perhaps playing a slightly different formation, or they will be playing a different formation, but going to have to approach the second half. They may have to hurt a little bit in terms of possession now. They may have to drop back and invite Aberdeen on them, but that doesn't mean they're out of the game. There's plenty of games that Stevens played in, there's plenty of games that Willie and I have played in where the 10 men have come through. It'll be a hugely important way to go forward, but it is what it is. Deal with it. They've got 15 minutes to calm everybody down. They've got 15 minutes to make the changes that they need to make so that everybody knows their role, and then they've got the whole of the 45, the second half, to get to the cup final.
John, I was speaking to Kenny about that. Aberdeen weren't very convincing last week, 11v10 against Rangers, and I'm sure that'll be something that's discussed in the dressing room. Aberdeen haven't been playing well. They've gave the ball away a lot this afternoon. It's up to Neil Critchley and how they counter-attack, because you still, even though you maybe go into a lower block, you still have to kind of throw counter-attack.
And this is a big thing, Stephen, is that logic would say you perhaps leave Wilson, you could move Wilson to wide right, take off maybe Devlin and put in somebody wide left with a bit of pace as well, maybe an Alan Forrest or a Musa Drama, and you either leave, or Kabangu maybe wide left and leave Shanklin up front on his own, or the problem is you can't really play Shanklin on his own because he's not going to stretch your team. He'll hold the ball up and he'll get other people into play, where 2 blocks of 4 with a flyer up front could work for Hearts, but I think they'll may just go into a kind of 4-3-2. They'll have to give up that man off the front. I think they could, as I say, they could put Wilson slightly wider. So this is a big call for Neil Critchley. I feel sorry for him, because they say up until the 43rd minute there, everything was, well, Hearts weren't ahead. He couldn't have been any happier with the performance, because it was a really good first half performance, and they were certainly the better side in the first half. But that decision now gives Aberdeen a huge boost, and they've got to work out, as you've said. They weren't great against 10 men of Rangers. They've got to work out what they're going to do to win this match as well.
It's been a great first half, Tom English, hasn't it? So many talking points. Is it one of these really intriguing games to watch?
Yeah, I think it's a terrific game. Aberdeen have not been good enough in this game, but Hearts are determined to keep them in it. With the things that they're doing. Hearts, they give Aberdeen a more or less a free header, 3 or 4 yards from goal. Aberdeen score. They give them a present of a red card. No need to make that tackle. There you go. We're down to 10 now. Now Hearts are saying, and now wastefulness as well. Like they have been a little bit wasteful, Hearts. They haven't created a lot of chances, but they've created a lot of chaos in the Aberdeen penalty area. So Hearts, they'll be so frustrated at some of the things that they're doing. Like, they're doing a lot of decent things, but the own goal, the red card, some of the chances they might have done better with, it'll be head-wrecking for them.
Willie, what have you made of it? Have you been a bit disappointed, perhaps surprised that poor's maybe the wrong word, but they've not really been at it in the first half, the Dons?
It's certainly worse than poor.
Honestly,
it's been dreadful. I would say dreadful. That first 15-20 minutes for Aberdeen, absolutely unacceptable.
Right.
I would suggest, and very fortunate to still be in the game, and very fortunate to be able to take the first chance, and Papa Gay slotting off the bar, and unfortunately for Craig Gordon coming off the back of his back reeling into the net. No, I just thought they were dreadful. I don't know what was going through their mind. It's just not the way to start any kind of a major game here at Hampden, and I didn't see anyone really trying to change it. It did settle down once they got the goal, and they did come into the game a bit more. I just don't know what Kevin Nisbet is up to out there, to be perfectly honest, and you might think I'm being hard on him, but I'm watching him. I know the quality he's got, and he gave nothing to the game from an Aberdeen point of view in that game, so much so that every time I looked at him, he seemed to have his arms out or his shoulders slouched. And I think there was one occasion where he came off and actually linked to play. And you need one of the two strikers to be able to give you that option, particularly when you're outnumbered in midfield. Aberdeen struggled hugely to build up the play, in the first 20 minutes or so. And I just thought it was dreadful. They turned it around a bit, and from the goal on, it was much more even. But Hearts have been the better side, probably created the mayhem in the box at times, but not too many clear-cut chances. Aberdeen's threat, there's no doubt about it. Spoke about it before the game. As Shayden Morris. I mean, the chance that everybody's surprised that he gets to that ball. Before Craig Gordon. I'm not surprised I know that he's getting to that ball before Craig Gordon, and then he gets his head up. He's an intelligent player, and he almost picks out Papagay at the back post. I think it was Devlin, was it, that got the header? Yeah. And if Devlin hadn't been there, that's the second goal for Aberdeen. Aberdeen's threat are definitely in the wide areas. Keskinen and Shayden Morris. For me, I just think Kevin Nisbet's been so disappointing. I just think he's a player of the highest order. He's letting himself down out there. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's added nothing so far anyway. We know if he can get a chance, he can find the back of the net, absolutely, and I think that's why Jimmy Tillene will keep him on. But for me, the first 20 minutes, Kenny, from an Aberdeen point of view, I haven't seen them playing as badly as that, constantly giving the ball away. And then as for the goal, I mean, Graham Shinnie, I just don't know what he's thinking about. Kenny, I'm sorry, he's got huge experience. He doesn't have to go in there. Aberdeen's got plenty of bodies in there to deal with that cross. He leaves Lawrence Shanklin, he misses the ball, he causes confusion, and when it falls to Lawrence Shanklin in that situation, he's going to find the back of the net. So he'll be disappointed with that. Listen, it's been a good game it's been an exciting game of football.
It has, Willie, no doubt.
I don't think there's been too much thought went into the game, to be honest, by either side. But you know what? It's been entertaining. I've enjoyed it.
Well, I think John covers it perfectly in terms of just a rush of blood from Graham Shinnie. But I think it actually sums up Aberdeen's whole performance. It's hard to really disagree with what you say, but it starts right from the start. Mitov, inside the first couple of minutes, two really shaky ones, and everything from Aberdeen's point of view, it almost seems the more they try to take control, Nisbet dropping into midfield, the more they've tried to take control, the less control they've had on it. So much rushed, and playing against that diamond, can you switch the play? And maybe Shinnie being at left back and not the centre of the park, almost to go and just grab a hold of it. So I think that'll be the message almost in the Aberdeen camp, saying, look, we couldn't really have played worse, but we're 1-1, they're down to 10 men, let's go and get more control in this.
Yeah, I just feel that when they get the ball, they don't know how. They don't have options to build the game up, Stephen. That's what I think, because you've got Kevin Nisbet, who's not an option. He simply isn't an option, and surely he has got to be dropping off and demanding the ball whenever the two deep-lying midfield players have got it, or when the full-backs have got it. So I just think he for me has been the most disappointing player out there from an Aberdeen point of view in the first half.
I think Hearts are going to change it here. Well, I'm looking at substitutions here, and it looks like Kent and Halkett have got their camouflage tops off, and it looks like Hearts may go to a back three, maybe a back five, play 5-3-1. That might be the change. It'll be interesting to see who comes off, but I'm just looking down here, and it looks awfully like Frankie Kent, although he's still got his bib on and Halkett's gone in, but Halkett's also just got his bib on. So I'm wondering if Hearts are going to go to a back three against that, or basically a back five. Go three in the middle of the park and leave the one man up front. Now they could possibly play Devlin and Beningame in the middle of the park with Shanklin just in front of them, and leave Kabangu up front on his own, or perhaps that would mean Wilson and Grant being sacrificed. So that looks, could be wrong, these guys look like they've got their tops off. It looks like Hearts are going to go to a back five.
Yeah, it'll all come out in the wash, John, and we'll wait and see what Neil Critchley does, and perhaps what Jimmy Tillene does as well, because he couldn't possibly be happy with that performance in the first half. I don't think he'll do too much. He's not known for doing an awful lot at half time, apart from probably the Parkhead game. So I think it looks as though Aberdeen will just start with the same starting 11. I think they are. No changes.
I think what Stephen's saying in the studio is right as well, Stephen. Maybe Hearts have looked at last week and saw the Rangers went to a 5-3-1.
Yep.
and caused Aberdeen problems, continue to cause Aberdeen problems, or Aberdeen didn't cause the problems that they should have been doing. So maybe that's what Hearts are looking at here. We'll find out in the next couple of minutes. Sorry, Tom.
No, I'm just saying what an opportunity this is for Aberdeen to get to a Scottish Cup final. I mean, this is a huge opportunity, but they need to wake, as the boys have said, they need to wake themselves up. This has been a really, really poor performance so far, but they're level and they're one man up. And yeah, this is all there for them.
Right, here we go. Let's hope for more of the same. What a fantastic first half. The first of the Scottish Cup semi-finals. Remember, the second semi, full coverage tomorrow in Sports and St Johnstone against Celtic. That one kicks off at 3. The programme on air at 2 o'clock. But let's get back to Hampden. Let's hope for another cracking event here at the National Stadium. Plenty to discuss. It's a big occasion for both these sides. Hearts against Aberdeen for a place in the Scottish Cup final with John Robertson, Willie Miller and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. Just to confirm, double change for Hearts as Craig Halkett and Frankie Kent come on as 2 strikers are sacrificed in the shape of Elton Kabangu and James Wilson, and it will be Hearts to get us back underway. So we'll just see how that affects Hearts' shape as Cammy Devlin gets us back underway, and it's launched long forward by Jamie McCart, I should say, and Craig Halkett and Kent returning from long-term injuries. Kent's not actually played since the game against Copenhagen in December. Halkett's had a little bit of game time since an injury against Kilmarnock in January. He came on late against Motherwell, but neither particularly, you would say, are match sharp. Hearts coming forward. They're going from right to left as we look at it from the back of the main stand here at Hampden in this second period. And Forrester goes and chases that, but he won't get there ahead of Shinnie. Shinnie clips it ahead of him. Kent slides in and knocks it out of play. And it will be a throw into Aberdeen. First instinct is that is a back 3, John, for Hearts now.
Yeah, they've gone 5-3-1.
Here comes Kesker into the byline, knocked away by Halkett.
The surprise is that he's taken off one of the flyers. You'd have thought in this shape, you need pace up front. You maybe, I'd rather he had kept.
Clarkson into the box, hacked away. And it comes to Jensen, who goes for goal, but well wide a goal from the fullback from about 20 yards.
I think if for me, he could have probably sacrificed maybe George Grant, played Beningame and Devlin there with Shankland just playing off them with a Kabangu or a Wilson up front, because you've got to try and stretch Aberdeen's defence, and Shankland, you've got to keep Shankland on because he's a goal threat, but Hearts need to get up the park, and he's taken the 2 quickest guys off, which is a huge gamble. So Lawrence Shankland should now just forget about doing any defensive type of work, just stay down the middle of the 2 Aberdeen centre backs and just play up there and give the team a platform, because if he wanders in the middle of the park, then Hearts are not going to get up the pitch.
I wouldn't allow him to play up there, John. I would squeeze him to the halfway line, because I don't think he's not going to hurt you in behind, is he? Lawrence Shankland. I think the 2 centre backs would have the measure of him. I think you try to play as high a line as you possibly can from an Aberdeen point of view. But yeah, it is. It's tactically, a bit of a game that we'd have to just have a little look at and see how it's working out for Hearts. But certainly get lack of options up front, haven't they? I think they've
that's my worry, Will, is that
the 5 at the back.
In terms of being a threat, I think if you just go Beningame and Devlin, and they're going to sit anyway, they're going to be sitters in front of the back 5. Play Lawrence Shankland a wee bit like you're talking about Nisbet. Just play him just in front of those 2, but have the threat of Kabangu, and or Wilson up front, so you can play it long and behind, stretch the Aberdeen team, and if the centre backs drop off, then maybe you can get Shankland in the front. The way they're playing with the 3 midfield players, as you say, Shankland's not going to run away from Dorrington or Jensen there, so they're going to be quite comfortable squeezing up. Now Hearts have got to just, Lawrence Shankland will have to play, hold the ball up, draw fouls, get the team up the park, draw fouls, because Devlin and Grant are not going to get beyond them from midfield, and it's a big ask to get Forrester and Penrice up there. So as I say, I'd rather Neil Critchley had sacrificed probably George Grant and maybe young James Wilson, left Kabangu up front on his own to really stretch Aberdeen defence, because as you say, Aberdeen the two centre backs right now will be thinking, oh great, we can push up as tight as we want and really squeeze the game into the Hearts half.
Play back underway as a delay there for a bit of treatment to Palaversa. Shanklin leaving one on him for the second time in the game. Stood on his foot that time. No yellow card, but the free kick went Aberdeen's way. We were back underway. We've played 49 on the clock. Still one apiece as it was at half-time. And here is the Croatian Palaversa, who sent a stray pass across behind Knuster, makes him go back the way. And I mean, it's just indicative of the slackness that's permeated that Aberdeen performance that you've been talking about, Willie.
It is. You've got to show an example. You've got to, commit yourself to dominate this second half. And with passes like that, negative passes like that from Palaversa, you're not going to do it.
Here's Clarkson though, looking to be a bit more forward thinking. Gets it into Nisbet. Little flick round the corner from Jensen. Doesn't link with Nisbet though, and Hearts clear, but it does look like it's going to be pretty much backs to the wall for Hearts in the second period. And unfortunately, I mean, I know it's letter of the law and he had to go, but the red card has threatened to rather spoil what was a tremendous first half spectacle. But Aberdeen fans won't care a jot about that, of course, if they come out on top. The 10 men of Hearts though still level. I mean, got the equaliser through Shanklin, the most obvious shove in the back there from Kevin Nisbet, about 2 yards in front of John Beaton. It was always going to be penalised, and Hearts get the free kick just inside their own half to be taken by Craig Halkett.
That just sums up Willie's exasperation's probably the word I'll use with Kevin Nisbet's performance so far. But yeah, you're right, Aberdeen are going to have lots of the ball. As I say, Hearts have got to take their time here and load up. They've got some big units now, so they certainly. So again, Shanklin's going out there, just go down the middle, because let Halkett go and attack it, let Frankie Kent go attack it, let Jamie McCart, there you are, at long last, Jamie McCart's told them, get on that side, because there's every chance one of these guys could win the flick on and Shanklin could be on the end of it.
Let's see, Gordon hoists it up towards the edge of the penalty area. It is flicked on, but Shanklin can't get near it, it's too close to Mitov. It was Halkett that won it, but Shanklin was never in any danger of getting on the end of that flick on, and Aberdeen get it forward to Keskinen on that left flank. Back with Shinnie, finds Keskinen again. Now attacking Forrester. Forrester gets something on the ball though. Keskinen's gone down and stayed down, but there was no foul. Then Shanklin is dragged to the ground by Knuster, and Aberdeen, despite the man extra, they are not really improving their performance from the first period thus far. They certainly haven't taken advantage of that man extra thus far.
Well, you're a centre back. What's he thinking? The ball's just going to go beyond.
Through his head. He's not thinking at all.
You know what I mean? He's got Shanklin in front of him. It's gone over Shanklin's head, and it's gone to one of his defenders, and he's just hauled them down. It's exactly what Hearts want, because you've just seen it. They can knock it long. They've got big lads now that can flick it on and look for the opportunity.
He's got two grey shirts behind him. Two.
Here's the free kick launched forward by Forrester this time. Kent gets his head to it. Poor header from Shinnie. It comes back at goal, and the effort from Shanklin from the edge of the penalty area was wide of goal, but the Hearts fans encouraged again. Their side are not going to give this up without a fight, despite being a man down after Steinwender's late red card in that first period.
They're actually posing Aberdeen the question, are you good enough to break us down? Hearts, that's what they've done. They've went back into a very defensive and organised formation, and they're posing that question, and only time will tell if Aberdeen are good enough.
Keskinen gets to the byline away from Kent, drags it back, couldn't find Nisbet though. It's knocked away by McCart, out for a throw-in over on the far side in front of the travelling Aberdeen fans. Throw-in taken to Clarkson, and now it's Palaversa for Jensen, who's been allowed to get forward a bit more from full-back. Out to Morris, who's had a couple of moments in the game. That's a good ball in game, with a glancing header just wide. Craig Gordon got down to his right-hand side. I'm not sure he was getting there had that been on target. It was a good effort from Gay, a good ball in as well.
Yeah.
It's not an easy one to take, is it, for Papa Gay? It's quite a low one. He's got to try and manipulate his body, his head, to get to something on it, and he does. I think he does fabulously well. It goes by the far post, whether Craig Gordon's going to get something on it or not, I'm not 100% sure, but a real difficult one. It's so close, isn't it? A real difficult one for the big striker.
Here's the best view here, Willie. What a header
that's not far away.
He's really unlucky. Yeah. I don't think Craig Gordon's getting to that, but they say that's the patience Aberdeen going to show. Hearts have shown their hand. They're going to play for free kicks. They're going to throw the ball in the box, and they've won the first contact twice early in the second half. So that'll be the way to get them up the park if Lawrence Shankland can buy them some fouls. But it's going to be defence v attack for large swathes of this second half. There's no doubt about it.
There's a terrific ball in as well from Palaversa that Gay got his head and managed to strain the neck muscles to almost get it on target and almost find Aberdeen's second goal, but not quite. So 54 minutes in, still 0-0 as Clarkson has it. Everyone barring Mitov well inside the Hearts half, as Jensen though is thwarted by Penrice down near the corner flag as Aberdeen attack down the right. Jensen throws it back to Dorrington, back to Clarkson about 15 yards inside the Hearts half, but allowed to advance, and then fires one out looking for Shinnie. Well watched by Forrester, picked up though by Keskinen at the angle of the box left hand side. Grant's just in front of him, he dinks it into the area. Way good header by Halkett, gets plenty distance on that, the centre back, and Aberdeen pick up once more at the halfway line. Do they have the quality to play through this well organised at the moment Hearts defence? It's effectively a back eight at the moment with Shankland furthest upfield for Hearts, and now it's Knuster leaves it to Palaversa midway inside the Hearts half. Now Dorrington similarly advanced, tries to play a straight ball forward to Jensen, who's almost up at the edge of the penalty area at the moment. Down goes Dorrington, bars in the back there by Hearts, who are not afraid to get involved in the physical battle. 10 minutes into this second period, no further goals, still one apiece as it was at half time as Palaversa lifts it forward. Jensen again inside the penalty area, manages to bring it under control, does well, gets it to Morris right hand side, knocks it back to Jensen once more, and he leaves it to Clarkson on the right. He's certainly capable from this kind of position, but it's a poor cross on that occasion and well defended by McCart, but picked up by Knuster, and waves of Aberdeen attacks just at the moment. Palaversa into Jensen, just knocks it back for Leighton Clarkson. He takes a shove in the back from Devlin, then it's into the area again looking for Jensen, who's operating almost as an auxiliary striker in this second half. Morris is penalised for his challenge there, I think on Penrice, who's gone down at the edge of his own penalty area. Hearts will get the free kick, so after 56 minutes here, still Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
I think Jensen's too far up, to be perfectly honest. I mean, he might play a significant part if he can find a bit of space down that right hand side, but for me all he's doing is blocking the space, for Shayden Morris, and it's
it requires a wee bit game intelligence from Aberdeen here, Willie, because Hearts have given up the fullbacks. Hearts have given up the fullbacks area. What they're basically saying is, we'll go to a back five. If your right back, left back gets in it, one of our midfield players will drift out a little bit. Have you got the quality to put in? So far we've had one good ball in, as a header just passed, but Hearts have been relatively comfortable, and as I say, Hearts will try and get, Shankland will try and draw a free kick there so that they can load the box, because that looks Hearts' only real threat at the moment.
Yeah, it's difficult to see how they would be able to get a goal from open play just at the moment as Devlin goes down under a challenge from Kevin Nisbet. I'm not sure how much Nisbet actually knew about what was going on there. He might have caught Devlin in the face accidentally, the Australian being helped to his feet by Nisbet. Now it will just be a free kick. I think whatever happened was purely accidental, albeit that's not always a reason not to give a card, but the referee John Beaton contents himself with the award of the free kick to Hearts, and as we've been saying, this perhaps the best opportunity for Hearts to get something. He's just getting a rerun. He does catch him with the elbow, but I don't think there's anything more in that. No suggestion that VAR are looking at that. Just a coming together, I suppose, as Hearts take the free kick and then worked out to the right hand side, and it's Halkett trying to fire in. They've managed to win themselves a corner.
Well, this is what Hearts will be looking for, there's no doubt about that, because they've got some big lads in there now. You've got Halkett, you've got Kent, you've got McCart, you've got Shankland, can all get themselves in there, and there's no doubt Penrice can deliver. Aberdeen not the biggest of size, but as I say, Aberdeen will have to not giving away these silly free kicks, because it's allowing Hearts the big chance just to lob it in there and see what Aberdeen are about.
Penrice then from the right hand side, poised with that sweet left foot of his. Can he pick out a teammate inside the penalty area? He swings it in towards the back post. Up goes McCart to attack it, but it's way over the top. The header from the big centre back. And as 59 minutes just about ticks around, it's still Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
You know, it's a half chance because he's against Shinnie there. You know, he's got round the back and he's got ahead of Shinnie.
I thought Shinnie did okay in that occasion, though. You know, just using his experience and making it difficult for the header to be anywhere near in target. You know, but it's going to be a tester for Aberdeen. They are in a great position, but so far they haven't shown too much in terms of opening Hearts up. But Hearts look really well organised defensively, don't they? They look in a nice shape at the back and not too many gaps to be exploited.
Devlin's down holding his face again. The referee's going to have to stop it. I mean, it was a pretty innocuous challenge. He just seemed to run into Morris. But of course, he's a player who's had issues with concussion in recent times, and there can be no chances taken with that as he goes down. I mean, he's going to put himself in these positions a lot because he's so combative, Cammy Devlin, but on occasions he is going to come out second best in these clashes, and he'll need a little bit of treatment here. Again, just catches him with the arm, doesn't he?
That's the second time he's been caught accidentally. I must point out here, absolutely no malice whatsoever from Nesbitt, and then there from
Morris.
So that he's just unfortunately, Cammy's that height. You know, I've had the same problem myself with some defenders. That your face is hard to the height of their elbows. You get a wee whack now and again. Whereas today against Aberdeen, those have been accidental. In the past, I'm not so sure that was the case.
I always thought you run into my elbow, John, to be perfectly honest.
So play will resume with a drop ball. Here we've played an hour at the National Stadium. The second half hasn't quite hit the heights of the first, partly I imagine because of the numerical disadvantage the Hearts have now, and their game plan has had to change, so it's not nearly as end-to-end as it was. But Aberdeen certainly haven't been able to take advantage. They've not yet really turned up, Willie, in this semi-final. When you're really given the form they've been in by and large of late, we've expected better from them.
Absolutely, and they've got a great opportunity here, but you know, I think Hearts are making it really difficult for them. I would think in this situation you want to make sure that everything's sharp, passing sharp, get in the wide areas, you know, and try to get some crosses into the box, try to penetrate the back five, because just now it's all too easy for Hearts. Everything is in front of their defence, that five-man wall that they've got there, and Aberdeen's got to, you know, try and disrupt that in some kind of a way, and I think the only way you can do that is by playing it, you know, nice and sharp, maybe trying to get the wingers on and leave them a bit of space to occupy in behind. Don't get the full-backs up too high.
Just looking at the Aberdeen bench and wondering about changes that they could make as they have an opportunity here almost, but Clarkson's ball into the box is well defended, and down goes Birmingham. It'll be a Hearts free kick. There are obvious people like Dabag and Oakles who have featured of late, but I just wonder, with Jamie McGrath back to fitness, Willie, is this a game for him, the cultured midfielder that he is, Hibs bound of course in the summer? Could he come on and make an impact in this semi-final?
It's a possibility. I don't know how his fitness is. He's been out for a long time, but he certainly got the quality. You know, I've been giving Nisbet a bit of a hard time, but he is a goal scorer as well. Do you take him off and play McGrath in there? He certainly, you know, might.
I think you're right, Willie, at the moment. If Aberdeen, again, we talk about match awareness, if Aberdeen's fullbacks just sit a wee bit deeper, they'll get on the ball, give it to the winger, let them go 1v1, and then just back them up, because as I say, Hearts are giving up the fullback areas because they can't get the personnel out there. So if Shinnie plays touchline left and Jensen touchline right, but Jensen's going away and playing that inverted fullback there, which is right on top of Cammy Devlin. He's quite happy to pick him up.
Here is Palaversa out to Jensen. The Aberdeen fans making greater noise just at the moment, but their side still level at one apiece on 63 minutes as Palaversa picks up once more. Clarkson's in plenty of space midway inside the Hearts half, plays it forward for Gay. It's another loose pass this time from Papagay, and out comes Craig Halke. He's done really well to get that out to the left hand side to Penrice, and Hearts trying to get bodies forward. George Grant wants it. Can Penrice pick him out? Goes to the back post instead. Looks for Shanklin. It'll come all the way out to Forrester. He'll go for goal and blast it over the top. Claims for a corner. Don't think it took a nick. Neither does John Beaton. Aberdeen goal kick. They're going to be few and far between these type of chances, John, and they couldn't take that one.
Penrice takes a touch too many. He's got an opportunity to slide George Grant in. If he slides George Grant in after his second touch, Grant's a head defender, but that extra touch allows Aberdeen to get back. He's had to try and find Shanklin. It's been knocked away. Young Forrester, his eyes lit up there as the ball come out. I'm 18 yards out, and he's blazed it well over.
Yeah, he could have been a hero there, young Adam Forrester, but rush of blood in the end, and blazed it well off target. So it's still one apiece after 64 minutes. Extra time and penalties, of course, a possibility before the afternoon is out. Remember, we've got St Johnstone against Celtic tomorrow in the second semi-final. Falkirk against Raith Rovers to follow this one in the Championship. A huge afternoon of Championship football, actually, all round, as Clarkson tries to thread the pass. It might have found Shinnie. In the end, it was Jensen again in a very unfamiliar position, almost in the left flank. Took the ball almost off Shinnie's toes, and it comes to nothing. But Aberdeen have a throw-in over on this near side. I mean, Jensen, as you said, Willie, he's adding in terms of numerical advantage in terms of getting bodies forward, but he's almost getting in the way at times.
Yeah, he's in a way, infield too, and it's really difficult to find space in there as well. The run has got to be perfectly timed, and you just feel that all the threat from Aberdeen, which was in the wide areas, is dissipated in the second half. And I think part of that problem is because the two fullbacks are getting themselves too high, occupying spaces that the wingers want to go into. Listen, I can understand why they want to do it, but I think a little bit more restraint is needed, and allow the two wide players, Keskinen and Morris, to do what they're good at, and that's taking on defensive players, getting to the byline, putting the ball across the face of the goal and trying to hit one of the two strikers.
It's not a full house here at Hampden, I have to say. It's an absolutely fabulous atmosphere. The Hearts fans now looking to try and out-sing their Aberdeen counterparts as both sides joust. I think Jamie McGrath might well have just got the shout to come back into the technical area, and he might well be the first change as Shinnie swings it into the penalty area. Nisbet can't get it. It does come to Jensen at the edge of the box. Can't initially bring it under control, but now he gets it to Morris. Right hand side of the box, up against Penrice. Can he take him on? He goes back to Jensen, swings it in back post. Should be Craig Gordon's ball, and it is indeed inside his 6-yard box. And after 66 and a half minutes, it's still Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
Just for here, Willie, obviously you've seen a lot. Has Nicky Devlin been injured, or is it? No. Because he was one of Aberdeen's players this season at the start of the season.
He missed 3 recently, and he's been back on the bench, but he's been Jensen's certainly been preferred to him since he's come in, hasn't he, Willie?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Jensen seems to be Jimmy Tilleen's man, and he's nailed down that position, and Devlin just had to sit on the bench and watch. Come on, at times, but a bit part player just now after being so prominent in the early part of the season.
Yeah, I think he's out of contract in the summer as well. I'm not sure where his future will lie, but Jensen certainly occupying that right back berth for the most part since his arrival at the club. Forward come Aberdeen. It's Clarkson short to Palaversa, midway inside the Hearts half. Shanklin is the furthest Hearts player forward, and he's midway inside his own half, and he goes to try and close down Clarkson, who spreads the play out to the left hand side to Shinnie, who comes inside Forrester and then leaves it for Keskinen at the angle of the box left hand side, blocked away by Forrester, and it will just trickle over the touchline on that far side for an Aberdeen throw in, and it is going to be Jamie McGrath who's going to come on. The first Aberdeen change. Can't claim to have had any great insight into that, but it did just catch my eye that he'd been brought back into the fray by Jimmy Tilleen, and in one of his final appearances for the Dons, try and help them into the Scottish Cup final, as Morris almost beats himself there. Now it's Jensen, closed down well. Devlin gets the touchdown, and it's out for a throw-in to Aberdeen midway inside the Hearts half right hand side, quickly taken as McGrath still waits to come on. It'll be interesting to see who he replaces.
Just wondered maybe, with Jensen being that far forward, maybe they take him off and put McGrath in there. If they're going to stick with this formation, then McGrath in that forward area would be a far more effective.
Let's see, we're about to find out. Palaversa is the man who is being replaced, so certainly a more attack-minded midfielder, Jamie McGrath, coming on than Palaversa, who makes way. And first change then by the Aberdeen manager midway inside the second half. It's Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1, and Hearts have a throw-in over on the far side as they look to try and somehow manufacture an opportunity to get the winning goal. Neil Critchley looking back towards his bench from his vast technical area here at Hampden. Might be thinking about another change or two himself. So McGrath comes on. It's his first appearance since actually playing against Hearts in January. So Aberdeen getting bodies back for the final part of this season. But McGrath, as I say, is Easter Road bound in the summer. I think Hearts might have also been interested in him on a free transfer in the summer, but Hibs winning that particular chase, and you would imagine it'd be a pretty good signing. Such a talented player, but back to fitness now and looking to get on the ball on the left hand side here, coming forward up against Forrester, just nudges it back the way to Shinnie on the left flank, comes infield to Clarkson. Aberdeen lacking the kind of inspiration required to break down a doughty defence thus far. Here's McGrath once more, just a little step over, finds a half a yard, gets the cross in. Gay tries to take it down in the chest, but it's whacked away by Halkett before he could take a second touch. There might well have been a shot and goal, and then Devlin does well to win possession. Can't find the ball forward for Shanklin though. It's out of play. 20 to play of the 90, and it's still as it was at half time. Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
Oh, it's a good cross, very decent cross into the box. Papa gave the sign to go with his chest. Is it not on for him to header that? I haven't seen a replay, but looked as though he was in a good enough position to maybe get the forehead on it.
With Shinnie, now Keskinen leaves it to McGrath once more, midway inside the Hearts half, dinks it into the area looking for Nisbet. It's won by a Hearts defender, but at the expense of a corner over on the far side. Another chance for Clarkson to go and whip in a delivery from that left flank, which is where the opening goal came from. He's varied it up since then. Shane Morris going and offering himself short again, but I was finding it a little bit bizarre that Clarkson didn't just go and try what had paid off the first time, and he might well do that here as Aberdeen look to. No, he doesn't. He goes short to Morris, and Morris plays it out to Shinnie, who first time whips the ball in. Very, very high cross. Gay wins the header, but can't get it on target, and it's tamely behind for a Hearts goal kick. Why?
Yeah, they've tried that a few times.
Yeah.
But I wonder why they didn't just go straight back to Clarkson again, because Hearts have only got one man out there. I haven't even got three. But listen, Hearts will be delighted if they're throwing balls in like that in the air and weak headers from 12 yards, because as I say, Hearts second half, apart from the Papa Gay header that went inches wide, was a good effort. Forrester's had a half chance for Hearts at the other end, but generally speaking, Aberdeen haven't really done enough to ask the questions.
They haven't, John. They haven't shown the quality, and you know, that type of set piece where it's just hung up at the back post, it's so easy to defend against. That, you know, all you have to do is make sure that the opposition, you know, doesn't get a run on you. You don't actually have to win the ball, you just have to make sure that they don't get anything on it. It's quite an easy one to defend, whereas when it's worked in and Clarkson's capable of it, much more difficult to defend. So yeah, a lot unusual to see him, you know, doing that on a couple of occasions now.
8-time winners Hearts, last lifting the trophy in 2012 against Aberdeen. Have won it 7 times, but not since 1990. That is an overdue period, they will feel, to lift the famous old trophy which they dominated. I'm sure Willie will quickly remind you, they dominated in that period up to 1990. Here's Baningime bringing Hearts forward. Now it's Penrice left hand side. Can he pick out a Hearts player? It's over Shanklin. There's no one really coming in quickly enough, but Forrester will get to it. His cross is blocked. Comes to Grant just outside the penalty, and he goes back the way. Hearts keeping possession though. Grant once more picks up, steps away from Gay, leaves it to Baningime. Good play this from Hearts, and now it's McCart driving forward. Penrice available once more, 10 yards from the byline. Back to McCart at the angle of the box. Takes a touch and he's closed down by Morris as he tried to lift the ball into the area, and Hearts will have to start again. It's back to Halkett, closed down by Gay, but gets the ball to Frankie Kent, and they're out to the right hand side to Forrester. Hearts looking to try and create something, can't get it beyond McGrath though, kept in by Shinnie. He goes down under the touch from Forrester, buying his side a free kick. 73, almost 74 played, still Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
Yeah, Shinnie Jones experience, but what a chance. Penrice, why does Penrice not put in the box? He's got a wonderful left foot, he rolls it back to left centre back. Jamie McCarthy, that's not his 40. Penrice should just put it in there again, see what Aberdeen have got, but there's a decent little spell there for Hearts.
Well, here come Aberdeen once more, looking for that second goal. It's Shinnie to Keskinen, left hand side of the box, into the box now he comes. Forrester's trying to face him up, near post ball is cut out by Halkett, and behind for a corner again as Hearts are having to get bodies in the way, and Aberdeen come down those flanks.
I think young Forrester's struggling now with cramp, he's had to put a shift in, so it might be Kingsley may have to come on for Forrester, another defender, as I say, because the young lad's done terrific today. He's kept Keskinen fairly quiet, but he's had to put a shift in as a wing back this second half, and he went down in a bit of a heap there.
Yeah, he's back on his feet to try and defend this corner that Clarkson does send into the 6-yard box. It's won by Grant, almost comes to Dorrington, but Beningame does enough to get it clear out of his penalty area. It'll be picked up by Jensen on the halfway line. McGrath inside of him, but Jensen tries to bring it forward down the right. It's Dorrington now, closed down by Penrice, but good turn of pace there, good challenge from Penrice, but it falls to Gay, and now it's Clarkson coming forward up to the edge of the penalty area. Shooting opportunity, deflected just wide. Oh, Craig Gordon was wrong-footed, and he just glanced to his left, not sure where that was going to end up, and happily for him it went the other side of the post, and it's simply an Aberdeen corner, but it could have been worse for Hearts there.
It could have been, Craig Gordon's definitely beaten with that one. It's taken a deflection, but it goes wide of the stick. It's a decent strike from Clarkson. He's more than capable of striking from there.
Here he is from the corner, right hand side, the outswinger this time. It's Kent who gets his head to that. Won by Morris at the edge of the box, helped on by Dorrington, but Hearts have won it, and it's Shanklin trying to bring his side forward. Can't get beyond the Aberdeen challenge. As an offside just before Gay, I think was foul, but it will be a free kick to Hearts for the offside initially, and Gay still down in a crumpled heap.
I think Cammy Devlin, I was going to say I thought he got away with one there, but he did leave one on him, but
yeah, yellow card for Cammy Devlin for that challenge. It did come after the whistle had gone, or the flag had gone up for the offside, but he's still punished nonetheless. But it will be, as I say, the Hearts free kick just outside Craig Gordon's penalty area. We've got a couple of changes coming. Stephen Kingsley is stripped and ready to come on, as John was predicting, and Forrester's gone down again in the centre circle, so that looks like the obvious change there.
That's never a yellow card as well. That's John Beaton again there. Yep, he got the red card right, but that one's not a yellow card. That one's, he's not showing his studs, he's just dipped his toe in. It's a harsh one on Cammy Devlin, but here we are. Well, we thought it's young Forrester. He's put in a hell of a shift, so the lad can be really delighted with his performance. He's kept Keskinen very, very quiet, and he's got forward on a few of that big chance. The young lad, his eyes lit up as the ball came to him, and he just couldn't keep it down. But he's had a very, very good day there, and he's replaced by the vastly experienced Kingsley. My only worry now is Kingsley, Kent and Halkett don't have a lot of games between them recently. They haven't. They've all been out for a few months, so
yeah. Kingsley's not played since the start of December when he went off against Aberdeen. So a number of these players in the Hearts backline, as you say, John, coming back from long-term injury and into such a big game, but they're all pretty experienced as Penrice tries to get to the byline. He's got himself a free kick. It would have been a corner, but John Beaton has awarded the free kick for the previous infringement. A yellow card for Jensen, and a chance here for Hearts to get the ball into the area, and a chance perhaps to get the winning goal.
Well, this is what Hearts want. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt. Again, I don't see much there to get a yellow there, just a little tussle, but listen, if there's one thing that these changes have made, it's given Hearts a threat, because you can add Kingsley to the mix. You've got Kingsley, Kent are in there, Halkett's in there, McCart's in there, Shankland. You know what I mean? There's some five big lads here that can go and attack this, and Grant's got the capability to put it in there, and this is Hearts' big threat. They've shown it already.
Let's see what they can produce here. George Grant from the left-hand side into the penalty area. Mitov comes and collects. A good take. The Bulgarian looking commanding there. It wasn't a bad delivery, but no Hearts player could get too close to the keeper.
It's too high. It's got to be a couple of yards short of that. The keeper can't come, or a bit further out, but wasted opportunity, as I say. It was a big Hearts attack up there.
Yeah, they're not going to get too many more, you wouldn't have thought, but you have to say that Hearts, having been the better side first half, have dealt well with Aberdeen second half in terms of them having a man more. Aberdeen, as we've been saying on countless occasions, Willie, they just haven't been good enough thus far to find the quality for what might well be a winner.
Yeah, and they're still doing the same thing with the two full-backs up. On that occasion, beyond the two wide players, and I can't understand why you don't try to isolate wing-backs with Keskin and Morris with the pace that they've got.
The thing is, Willie, Aberdeen could actually go, it's only Shankland up front, they could go to back three quite easily enough and just, push one further on in there and get your centre-backs coming forward with the ball.
Here's McGrath, left-hand side. Dabag's about to come on, but Keskinen has it inside the penalty area, just at the edge now. Goes back the way by Benningham. It's Shinnie taking over into the area. It comes back. It comes for Jensen. Gets a shot in, but it's blocked, I think, by McCart inside the penalty area. Comes back out to Clarkson. Jensen once more. It's going to be a double change actually for Aberdeen, as Jeppe Okel's also about to come on. Nisbet trying to make something of it inside the penalty. A good challenge from McCart, and then the free kick goes Hearts' way, but it was good defending nonetheless. Nisbet's penalised, but Jamie McCart wasn't to know the free kick was coming.
It was, wasn't
silly
it?
foul.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the Hearts defender. McCart's facing his own goal. There's not a lot he can do with it. Probably head it past for a corner. Nisbet just needlessly shoves him there, and again a little bit of match intelligence there.
Changes are going to be Dabag and Ockles for Keskinen and Gay. So Ockles, you would imagine, just going out and playing on that left flank where Keskinen's been operating, and Dabag through the middle with Kevin Nisbet, as Aberdeen look to try and take advantage of their numerical advantage and at last find a winner and avoid taking the game to extra time.
Yeah, just the same shape really, like for like changes. Keskinen coming off and Ockles getting the opportunity to impress, which so far in his Aberdeen time he hasn't done, but this is a big stage, so this gives him that opportunity. And the bag through the middle, he's an energetic player. I don't see him being the kind of a one with finesse, but he certainly there's a lot of running in him, a lot of energy in him, and that's maybe what you might need if you can find a little bit of space to make the runs into.
Again, listen, this is dangerous for Aberdeen, because they kept giving
dangerous all second half, to be honest.
Yeah, they just keep giving away silly fouls. They must understand that Hearts' big threat now is set pieces, because they've got big lads all over the shop, and they just keep, I don't know if it's a sense of frustration. They know they're not playing well, they know they've not got the grip of the game that they perhaps wanted, but this gives Hearts the opportunity again, load the box to either side, stretch Aberdeen here with Shankland looking for any potential knockdowns.
It'll be Penrice to take the free kick from inside the centre circle, central area. He knocks it just to the right hand side of the box, and it's won initially by Halkett. A cross goal that comes from Kingsley, but Aberdeen deal with that. Ockles will try and keep it in, but he's given it straight to Grant. Grant will try and spin away from Nisbet. Good physicality shown by Nisbet, who tries to feed it forward for Dabag. Well, the idea was the right one. You have to applaud the intentions of Kevin Nisbet and the initial challenge, but the final pass just goes out of play as Dabag tried to motor down that left hand side. It'll be a throw into Hearts. We've only got 7.5 minutes left of the 90, and it's still Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
Just a quality again, isn't it? Kevin Nisbet does well. He's back there, he's helping out his defence, he wins possession, but then unable to keep the ball in the park. And if he manages to keep the ball in the park, then the bag's, taken off down that left-hand side, but it's a poor pass forward.
Shankland doing well up against Knuster there, battling away on the goal line. Shinnie steps in comes Devlin as well, and knocks it behind for a goal kick. And the Hearts fans, again, not happy with the decision. I think it was the correct one, but Shankland and Devlin both giving their all for the Hearts cause as Aberdeen come forward, and it's Clarkson to Shinnie, left hand side, out to Ockles, looking to take on Kingsley, who's playing on that right hand side, the left footed defender into McGrath in the angle of the box, left hand side, stands up to the back post, it'll come to Morris and then headed away by McCart, who couldn't take any chances. I don't think the header was going to really damage Hearts, but McCart wasn't to know exactly what was around him, and he heads it behind for a corner on this right hand side to Aberdeen.
It's a poor header, isn't it? Not noted for his heading ability, I must say. Shayden Morrison, I think he saw it late as well, coming over the bag's head. Good little cross from Jamie McGrath.
Clarkson's corner right hand side, a header won by Knooster, doesn't go towards goal, and Devlin can take his time and try and get it clear, doesn't get it very far, bounces off Shankland, and Aberdeen pick up once more. Now it's McGrath midway inside the Hearts half, clips it just inside the penalty. Dabag goes up, but is never getting anywhere near that, and Aberdeen continue to lack the guile required to break down this Hearts defence, John.
Yeah, that's the exact word. It's guile, a little bit of thought, a little bit of cleverness. Hearts, good defending from Kent here. He's just leaned into Dabag, made sure he's not going to get anywhere near it. To the saying, Hearts have just got to keep doing what they're doing, just play away, try and draw a foul, because Aberdeen will get more nervous. As I say, we're at the stage now where the next goal wins in normal time, and if Hearts can just keep drawing fouls and throw balls at the box and perhaps get something. There's another foul
potentially, but Birmingham takes it on, and now it's Penrice at the goal line, tries to drag it back, and it's off Dorrington and behind for a corner. And listen to the roar from the 20,000 Hearts fans inside Hampden, urging their side on, their 10 men on to find a winning goal. We've played 85 minutes.
Yeah. This is one where I'd like to see him just throw a bit of air in it, William, in between the 6-yard line, the penalty spot. Give the lads something to go and attack. Don't put it right on top of Mitov. Just put it in an area where they can go and attack it.
Grant's corner, left hand side, off the chest of Clarkson. It could have fallen anyone. It comes to Penrice. Oh, just wide from the edge of the box. Tried to curl it. Mitov threw himself to his right. Didn't get anything on it, but fortunately for him, it went the other side of the post, and it remains Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
Who was the Aberdeen player that played that pass to Penrice?
Yeah,
was it Nisbet or McGrath?
Yeah.
It was one of the two of them.
Just hit
perfect pass.
There you are, there. It just.
Here comes Ockles down the left hand side.
It's Clarkson.
Aberdeen.
And then knocked down to Dabag.
Come forwards. Cross is way too heavy. Jensen will chase it. He won't keep it in. And as Khartoum prepares to come on, a couple of brilliant goals against Dundee in the previous round, and on to replace George Grant for the final few minutes here, and potentially extra time as well. But Hearts, another throw of the dice as Neil Critchley has a final few words with Sander Khartoum. Hearts will have the throw in deep in their own territory. How close was James Penrice there to curling that one beyond Mitov?
Yeah, but it just shows you, Hearts deserved an opportunity there for the way they've hung in the second half, the way they've frustrated Aberdeen. They've played sensibly for the formation they've got. They've played for free kicks, they've played for corners, and that one, say, it's terrible defending from Dabag there. Penrice is about a foot or so wide. As I say, it was a half a chance, but it was very, very close indeed.
Ball high in the air, glanced down by Nisbet. Down goes Dabag looking for a free kick, but it's not given, and Hearts sweep it forward. Picked up though by Jensen. Devlin making a good challenge. Shankland steps in and wins it as well, and Birmingham then gets it back out to Devlin, who's been terrific in the midfield. Here's McCart, left hand side for Hearts, closed down by Dabag, out for a Hearts throw. We've got just under 3 left of the 90. You see a winner coming in regulation time, chaps?
So far in the second half, there hasn't been too many opportunities created, has there really? Listen, who knows? It's a game of football, anything can happen, but on the evidence of the second half, then the quality hasn't been there in front of goal.
Neither keepers had to make a save. There's been Guy's headers just past the post, Penrice just past the post, Forrester just over the bar, Morris with a half chance from the header, but it's all been half chances. But Hearts will be delighted that they've hung in so well, because you'd have expected Aberdeen to create more chances.
Brilliant from Penrice, gets it back to Devlin, but his cross is charged down, but Hearts have it back again. It's Devlin at the angle of the box on the left hand side. Penrice swings that one in, but it's too close to Mitov. An easy take for the Bulgarian keeper. 2 minutes to play, one apiece at Hampden. We will bring you commentary of Falkirk Wraith Rovers, but if this one goes to extra time, we will delay crossing to the Falkirk Stadium Might get there for kick-off, actually, depending on how things turn out here. But anyway, we will bring you live coverage of that as and when we can. Might yet be a winner inside the 90 if either side can come up with a moment of quality, as McGrath picks up left-hand side for Aberdeen. Now Knuster back in field to Clarkson. Clarkson's about 35 yards from goal. He advances, he tries his luck. It comes off the heel, I think, of McCart. And Hearts can try and break here. It's Beningame for Devlin. Shankland's up with him. Devlin just having to hold on. Can he pick out a teammate? It's Khartoum, about 30 yards from goal. Not too many options for him. He spins and plays it out to Kingsley, right-hand side. Looking to try and get the cross in here, Kingsley. Instead he'll go back the way to Frankie Kent, infield to Craig Halkett. It's Hearts looking for a winner in the final minute of the 90. Out it comes to the left-hand side to Penrice, trying to measure across here. It's met by McGrath, who gets his lines cleared up towards the halfway line. Kent will bring it under control and play it square to Jamie McCart, just inside his own half. 30 seconds of the 90 to play, but it's stoppage time to come as well. That ball look forward, looks, Mitov just about dropping that as he almost juggled it under pressure from Shankland, but in the end he gathers. Still one apiece.
I think the whole of the Aberdeen end took a large deep breath after that one, juggled just for a half second. With Shankland, I think Shankland was hoping that he caught it. he didn't want to run back there a bit, but Shankland's worked his tail off up there. He's drew those clever fouls, and Hearts are certainly not just hanging on. They've been trying to get forward.
It's Aberdeen doing that just now. 3 minutes to be added on. We're just into that now as Knuster has it left-hand side. Now Jamie McGrath looking to find an injury time winner. Is McGrath getting it back? He goes for goal, but it was always rising. Craig Gordon seeing it over the top of his crossbar. And it's still Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1. Extra time is beckoning.
Yeah, it is. Nice little 1-2 there between McGrath and Graham Shinney, but the strike, a difficult angle as well, isn't it? It's always going to have to be something extremely special to beat Craig Gordon in goal, and he puts it quite a bit over the bar, unfortunately, from an Aberdeen point of view.
Craig Gordon not in any great rush to take this goal kick. Jimmy Tillene and Neil Critchley both at the very edges of their technical area. There's the tension down there, palpable. Both sets of fans trying to send the energy from the stands to the pitch to inspire their side to a last-minute winner, perhaps, as Dorrington is foiled, trying to come forward down the right-hand side. Poor control from Knuster as the ball is battered forward, and he'll go and retrieve it and bring it forward now to the edge of his own penalty area, and then plays it to Leighton Clarkson. Can either side create one final opportunity in these 90 plus minutes, or are we heading for another half an hour? It's Ockles out to Shinney, left hand side. Shinney with an opportunity to get it in. It's over Nisbet. McCart gets a glance again, or taking it only into the path of Morris. Now Jensen, right hand side, back to Morris. Can he take on Penrice and get the ball in? No, he goes back the way to the angle to Jensen once more. He'll play it back to Clarkson. Clarkson will clip it towards the back post. It's Kent getting first to it, but picked up by McGrath. Claims for handball, nothing given. Out it comes to Morris. Chance here for Aberdeen. Into the box, low ball in, and cleared by McCart, who was defended stoutly. But in the final minute of injury time, Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1. Extra time almost upon us as Devlin again does a brilliant job up against Morris there. Gets his body in between ball and man and gets it back. The clearance comes to Dorrington, who then slides in. Yellow card for the Aberdeen centre-back as he takes out Khartoum. It was his follow-through that John Beaton, who was only a yard away from the action, didn't like. And I think the Hearts fans were looking for a levelling up of men there, and a red card for Dorrington, but it was just a yellow. It'll be a free kick to Hearts, no ongoing checks, so the yellow card will suffice for Dorrington.
It was pretty rash though. It was pretty rash. He's sliding in low. He gets a little bit in the ball. He does try to, actually check out of the follow through. So I think that's why no further action's been taken.
Yeah, it's a yellow card. It's momentum. There's two coming in there. Good refereeing from John Beaton. As I say, this is it. Hearts could go for a Hail Mary here. Will they just throw it up? Get a little flick on, and there's no way back. But is this the final twist of the tail?
Well, the free kick is taken, but John Beaton immediately blows his final whistle. So, still all square at the end of the 90. As we were at half-time, there has been a very different second half, not nearly as entertaining, you'd have to say. The red card, really, as we feared, has kind of spoiled it in that regard. It was very much end-to-end first period as Hearts started the game in Brighton but fell behind with a Craig Gordon own goal ultimately after Papagay's header came down off the crossbar and hit the unfortunate Hearts keeper and bounced into the net. But they were level when Shanklin got on the end of a Penrice cross to strike it through the legs of Dimitar Mitov. That was before the red card was shown to Michael Steinvender in the closing moments of the first period for taking down Topi Keskinen on his way through to goal. Second half, there have been opportunities, nothing massively clear-cut and no big saves for either keeper, but Hearts to be commended, playing with the 10 men for all of that second period and taking this into extra time. The first Scottish Cup semi-final of the weekend at 90 minutes stands Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
The Scottish Cup.
This is the chance they've been waiting for. Across goal it comes, must be it!
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. So the plan is obviously the extra time to come from the National Stadium, and who knows, potentially a penalty shootout there for the right to face either St Johnstone or Celtic in the Scottish Cup final next month. When things are done and dusted at Hampden, we'll immediately switch our focus to the Championship. Some huge games there today. Falkirk at home to Raith Rovers. That's our commentary match. We'll also have the very latest in what's been a really dark week for all involved at Hamilton Accies. Leanne Crichton has joined Steve McGinn and me in the studio. Leanne, it's so different in the second half. There's not been an awful lot to talk about. The first half was fantastic.
It was, yeah, an unbelievable first half, and coming into the studio certainly to watch the second half play out, you've got to say really disappointing from an Aberdeen perspective that they've not managed to capitalise on the player advantage that they've had now for some time, and for Hearts this is ultimately playing into their hands, because when you go a player down in this type of scenario and situation, you want to stay in the game for as long as you possibly can. You of course carry that belief that you can go nick the next goal and stay in it, but the worst case scenario would be take it all the way to penalties and it becomes a lottery and a shootout at the end. So really disappointed from Aberdeen, because they faced this same type of scenario last week against Rangers. To me, it doesn't look like they've problem solved that at all in terms of that second half performance and the comeback from Rangers. They've not used the pitch this afternoon, they've not moved Hearts enough, they've not created overloads in the wide areas, they've not had enough quality in and around the box, they've not wore Hearts down, and ultimately when you've got a player extra, it might not be that much easier, and at points you can look at it and go, it's actually more difficult to play against 10 than it is 11, but there's moments that Hearts are coming out to play and they're looking to try and go and get that goal. For me then, your transitional moments have got to be so much better, and Aberdeen have offered absolutely nothing in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Aberdeen very, very poor. Willie said that at half-time, Stephen. Strong words from Willie, but you have to give an awful lot of credit to Hearts today.
Yeah, absolutely, and you could hear the noise from the Hearts support as the players were walking off. They really appreciate the effort they've put in, and this was the perfect scenario for them. At half-time, you're organising about, it takes a bit of a gamble with bringing Kabangu and Wilson off, set up that Rangers had last week, and I think they're desperate for extra time now. You can see the body language of the Hearts players compared to the Aberdeen players. They're enjoying the game out there, and it's not how 10v11 should look like. Yeah.
Tom English is alongside John, Willie and Alistair at the National Stadium. What have you made of that second period, Tom?
I thought credit to Hearts for staying in the fight. I think Aberdeen have been putrid and haven't had a shot on target in the entire game. That's 45 minutes without a shot against 10 men.
Right, I thought I was hard on them.
Dreadful. We're up a notch at putrid now.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, for all the reasons Leanne said,
yes.
There's no ambition, there's no accuracy, there's no cleverness, there's nothing. I mean, I can't remember a decent opportunity that they've created. It's been speculative shots. It's been really good defending, really disciplined defending from Hearts, who are hanging in there. But Aberdeen are throwing virtually nothing at them.
There's an awful long way to go, but this could could be a big turning point for Neil Critchley, no doubt at all. He's been under a fair bit of pressure in recent weeks. So here we go again. This could be really exciting. Stay tuned to BBC Radio Scotland Championship action to follow. But right now, let's get back to the National Stadium. Hearts against Aberdeen for a place in the Scottish Cup final with John Robertson, Willie Miller and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. Dante Polvara has replaced Shayden Morris at the start of extra time here. And Aberdeen will get us restarted once more, going from right to left in the first period of extra time, looking for that elusive goal that might take them back to Hampden on the 24th of May to face either St Johnstone or Celtic. All of that action to come tomorrow. And these sides have half an hour to try and separate themselves, otherwise it will be the lottery of a penalty shootout, although Willie will hark back to the 1990 final when you didn't play in that one, did you, Willie? You've told me before you were injured,
yeah, I was injured,
that period, but your side came out on top against Celtic in that mammoth penalty shootout. One that Paki Bonner doesn't like being reminded of, does he?
He doesn't.
And you're only too keen to do so.
Every time.
I go against that lottery thing.
Do you?
I think it's the ultimate test of your technique.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You look at, we've had a brilliant golf where you've seen McIlroy go to a playoff and say, oh, what ball that is. Go into playoffs and stuff, and you've seen cricketers with the super overs and all this thing. So apparently you're 12 yards out.
Yeah.
It's about technique. It's not a lottery. If you're a good striker and you've got good technique, you should be able to score. That's where the goalkeepers come at their own as well.
Polvara with a good ball. Shinnie knocks it back the way. Dabag able to get in the end of it. 20 yards from goal. Good defending though from Benningham. He comes back out to Shinnie though, left hand side, as Aberdeen try and at last force the issue and perhaps attract some plaudits from our various pundits here by the end of the 120 minutes. As Dorrington has it out to the right hand side. Again, a couple of the Aberdeen passes haven't really been as accurate as they should be, but Jensen does pick up, and it's Polvara once more back to Jensen, and then Dorrington once more just inside the Hearts half. Everyone in a maroon jersey back behind the ball again as Clarkson plays it to his left for Knuster. Knuster out to the left hand side to Ockles. Ockles midway inside the Hearts half, back the way to Clarkson inside the centre circle. Now is Dorrington. Patient stuff this from Aberdeen. Can they create something? It's Jensen sending it in. Kent first to it. It's not a great clearing header. Polvara trying to keep it alive, gets it out to Shinnie now. Low ball in, and it comes off Stephen Kingsley behind for an Aberdeen corner.
Yeah, better from Aberdeen there, a bit more patient, and for once Shinnie keeps a width,
yeah,
and gets a cross in. But there's again, you know, Nesbitt's coming short, Davag's coming short, McGrath's coming short. You know, they're not really stretching Hearts in behind, although Hearts are sitting deep to try and stop that. But
I think it's got to be done quicker, John. I think the pass has got to be done quicker, and you know, the pressure kept on that Hearts defence.
McGrath taking over corner kick duties from the left hand side, curls it in, back post ball is won brilliantly by McCart, who heads out for a throw-in over on the far side. And credit to Hearts, who beyond that opening goal that went in, they have defended balls into the box really well. 3 minutes played in extra time, still one each it stands as Clarkson picks up and builds the latest Aberdeen attack out to the left hand side to Jeppe Ockles on loan from Preston, up against Kingsley, back onto the right foot, curls it back post, a good ball. It's won by Penrice that time. Then Halkett gets his head to it, helps it further clear. Shankland for Khartoum, who manages to get it to Beningame, who likewise gets it to Penrice. He hoists it forward for Shankland. He's done well against Knuster. Oh, he's been penalised there for his challenge on Knuster. I really can't quite fathom that decision from John Beaton. I thought it was pretty much a 50-50 and that Shankland just got the better of him.
If anything, it's the other way about, because the Aberdeen defenders, Shankland's backed into him, which he's every right to do. The Aberdeen defender hauls him over. It's a poor decision from John Beaton. There's a chance for Hearts to break.
Picked up on the right hand side by Aberdeen. We'll get Willie Miller's view on that perhaps, as a ball just cut out there by Craig Gordon at full stretch before Nisbet perhaps might have headed home had the ball got beyond Craig Gordon, but a good stop in the end from Craig Gordon as we reach 4 minutes of added on time. Just going, because that would have been a big chance for Lawrence Shankland to get Hearts up the park had he not been penalised, Willie.
Well, it would have been, and Knuster had lost his footing as well, so he had slipped, and Shankland was away. And I got to agree with John. I certainly didn't see it being a free kick the way the referee gave it anyway. So I think Aberdeen got off with one there.
Yeah, but play continues with Aberdeen continuing to try and ask the question, but thus far failing to be a real penetrative threat. But on the right hand side, they get the ball into the box. It's Kent No who wins it. They've just got to have a bit more craft in these situations and identify the kind of ball, because the balls that they're throwing into the box at the moment are just meat and drink almost for Kent, Halkett and McCart.
Yep, it's got to be, zipped about much quicker, and then the quality of the ball into the box has got to be of a higher standard than what we've watched so far in this game, and that's where Aberdeen have let themselves down.
Oakles, he's the latest to try, but the quality once again lacking too much on it for Dabag. An easy take for Craig Gordon. 5 minutes gone in extra time. Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
I think it's all too easy just to throw something into the box without any real thought or accuracy.
That's the thing, Willie. Dabag's not the biggest, Nisbet's not the biggest, although he's decent in the air. Can you thread little balls into their feet, wee turn, wee step over? Because it's meat and drink for Hearts at the moment. Kingsley, Kent, Halkett, McCart and Penrice are big lads. They've handled everything that's been thrown in so far.
Polvara's done well. Right hand side, it's Jensen. Low ball in this time, cut out by McCart. Again, the quality lacking in the final ball, the final delivery. This time from Jensen. It's whacked out for a throw in over on the far side. Although I think John Beaton's saying it must have taken a nick off an Aberdeen player as McCart cleared it, because he's given the throw in to Hearts midway inside their own half. And I mean, would Hearts settle for penalties right now, John, if you offered them?
Yes, absolutely they would. But listen, all Hearts can do is what they've done so far, is be strong, be resolute, be hard to break down, defend, make Aberdeen cross it, defend the crosses, and then hope that they can try and draw fouls, get bodies into the box, throw it, and to win it in extra time anyway, they have to throw bodies in the box. But if you said to Hearts, take penalties now, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, well, here's Shinnie getting it forward for Oakles, who's done well against Frankie Kent, who then goes down looking to get himself a free kick, but the throw-in the end just goes to Aberdeen, about 15 yards from the corner flag. Their left hand side as they attack. Now it's Dabag trying to get the better of Beningame in this left flank, trying to twist away from him. Beningame desperately trying to stick with him. Dabag gets it into the area, headed away by Halkett. Clarkson picks up and plays it to Jensen, midway inside the Hearts half. Clarkson with a neat touch to Polvara, to the edge of the box to Nisbet, who feeds it out to the right. Jensen will try and cross it first time, comes off Penrice. Another Aberdeen corner. Polvara's made a little bit of a difference, Willie.
Yeah, it's decent build-up play, and he was involved in it as well. But it goes out to Jensen, and again he hits the first man. It's quality of the cross into the box not good enough from him. He's full of energy and enthusiasm, but the delivery from Jensen in particular has been poor.
Here's a delivery from the right hand side. McGrath sweeps it in. It's not great either, but comes back to him on that right off Kent, and then Devlin gets across to block the second attempt from McGrath to get it into the penalty area. It's a throw into Aberdeen, back the way to Clarkson, and now Jensen just at the edge of the centre circle coming forward, and then playing it square to Shinnie out to the left hand side to Oakles, midway inside Hearts territory. Davag's come out to the left hand side to pick up possession, feints back onto the left foot. Not a bad delivery that time. Polvara meets it about 15 yards from goal, but heads it off target, and with just more than half of the first period of extra time gone, still Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
Again, Hearts will be happy with that. The cross is about 14 yards out. The header's not going to trouble Craig Gordon, and I think, as I said, Willie and I both said it, from an Aberdeen point of view, they've got to try something different. I've not seen Nisbet or Davag pin the centre halves in the box, get into feet and get people in around them, but lay them off. A midfield player running from deep. So far it's been predictable. Wide, cross, head it away.
Craig Gordon with the goal kick over a halfway line. It goes, down goes Devlin under the challenge from Polvara. Nothing given. Aberdeen pick up. Nisbet pokes out to the right hand side. Jensen's going to have to scamper and keep that in. He's managed to do so though, but it's another loose pass from an Aberdeen player. Jensen goes back the way now to Dorrington on the halfway line. He'll play it infield to Clarkson, who's looking to try and orchestrate things in the midfield. Dorrington once more just to his right. Further to the right is McGrath. McGrath comes infield and goes back to Dorrington again. Aberdeen just looking to find that one moment of quality that might prove to be the telling moment in the game. Dorrington coming forward once more, picking up from Clarkson, and then I think goes for goal, but I actually can't be quite sure because the ball ends up so far wide of target that if that was an effort on goal, then it's barely worth mentioning.
It certainly was an effort. Well,
it was an effort.
It was an effort, I will say that.
It was well
an
wide,
effort on the corner flag, perhaps, maybe.
Yeah,
it's a struggle. It's a struggle for Aberdeen, isn't it? You know, I think they've let the game, the tempo of the game get so low that they're struggling to raise it. They're struggling to cause Hearts any problems. Hearts are just sitting in there quite happy to do it. They've got every right to do it. And Aberdeen have got to find an answer, and so far they haven't been able to do that. And to be perfectly honest, they haven't looked like doing it in the second half and into extra time.
And they lost on penalties in last season's Scottish Cup semi-final after a thriller against Celtic, a 3-3 draw at the end of extra time, in which Aberdeen scored late goals at the end of 90 and at the end of extra time, if memory serves correctly, taking it to penalties, but Celtic coming out on top and of course going on to win the trophy once more here against Rangers. As Polvara, I thought he played it off the face of Baningime. It looks like the arm was involved as well, and Aberdeen have got a free kick midway inside the Hearts half, pretty central area, as they look to try and create something that might bring about a second goal for them and potentially a winning goal for them, as Baningime now goes down. Definitely hit him in the face as well as the hand. He's back on his feet, having gone down momentarily, and Leighton Clarkson standing over the free kick midway inside the Hearts half, very central area. Difficult to get an angle on this. You'll have to try and find one of the centre backs perhaps on the angles of the box. Here he is, Clarkson. He plays it low for Nisbet, who goes for goal, but straight down the throat of Craig Gordon. A comfortable save, a bit of invention about the free kick, but Nisbet's finish lacked the power and accuracy, and it didn't really trouble Craig Gordon. But they have got that long-awaited shot on target that Tom was saying they hadn't managed in the course of the opening 90 minutes. But after 101 now, it's still Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
Yeah, and a bit of thoughtfulness as well, you know, coming into the game too. You know, it was well worked. You know, Nisbet gets a reasonable strike on it, but it's never going to test Craig Gordon in goal, and it's straight at the Hearts goalkeeper as well.
Cammy Devlin's won his side a free kick midway inside the Aberdeen half, and it's one of those situations, or a very similar position actually to from which Leighton Clarkson at the other end just took the free kick, but it does present Hearts with this opportunity to try and make their aerial dominance, you would have to say, count here. It's Khartoum who stands over it and hoists it to the back post. McCart won't get it. It's Dabag who goes back and wins it. Come back out to Khartoum, who heads it out to the right hand side. I'm not sure if Kingsley reckoned he was going to be offside. Didn't really seem to go for that, to try and keep it in, and it'll be an Aberdeen throw-in. A couple of minutes left then in the first period of stoppage time, and Kevin Nisbet's effort really the closest we've come to a goal, but as I say, it was never any real threat to a keeper of the quality of Craig Gordon. Didn't really get a hold of it. Kevin Nisbet kind of typifying the kind of game he and his teammates have had. It's Aberdeen in possession though. Dorrington bringing it forward, plays it square to Clarkson. Hearts, everyone behind the ball, a 5, a 3 and a 1. Shankland furthest forward as Clarkson though lifts it over him and out to the left hand side, and it's Ockles nudging it back to Shinnie, edge of the box, on the right foot, plays it to Polvara now, but 25 from goal. Now it's McGrath. Hearts swarming around the ball, trying to keep Aberdeen at bay. It's Nisbet now right hand side, tries to feed it in. McCart not taking any chances, could have just allowed that to come through to Craig Gordon, but didn't want to allow any slip ups there, and he just knocks it out on that far side for an Aberdeen throw-in. Just over a minute left of the first period of extra time. Nothing to be added on at this stage as Knuster has it midway inside the Hearts half, out to the left for Shinnie. Now it's Ockles. Oh, he's fed out nicely through for Shinnie. Inside the box, cuts it back. Dabak with a chance. Great save, Craig Gordon. That's Craig Gordon at his best on the big occasion to deny Dabak, who swung the boot at it, got plenty behind it, but down went Craig Gordon just off his line to his left-hand side and held on to it. Massive save from Gordon. Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1.
Oh, what a save. I mean, he's done it over years and years and years. Craig Gordon, he hasn't lost it at all, because Shinnie does extremely well down that left-hand side. The bag can't believe that Craig Gordon's managed to save that.
No.
There's bodies in front of him. How he sees it, I think that's instinct that he goes down there, and how he holds on to it, I do not know.
That is just repeat in training. What a save, that is incredible. Because it was literally just past McCart. McCart was only a yard in front of him, and he just managed to see it out.
Yeah, brilliant stop. First time he's really been called into action as the half-time whistle goes. And Hearts just holding on there at the end and calling upon their veteran goalkeeper to keep Aberdeen out at the very end of that first period. We're going to stick with the team here at Hampden for this half-time period, which will be relatively brief, but we'll bring Tom in. And Aberdeen at least showing signs of life towards the end of that first half period. Tom getting a couple of shots off, particularly the one from Dabag, and a top-class save from Craig Gordon.
Yeah, a couple of shots on target at last. Al Nisbet was tame enough. Gordon, easy job saving that, but the second one was outstanding. Dabag got plenty. Dabag did well to tee it up for himself, got a decent shot away. And Gordon, I'd like to see it again, because, I mean, as Robbo was saying, McCart was in his road. And I'd say he must have been a little bit obscured, but he still got down brilliantly for a man of, what is he, 42?
Yeah.
42 to get down so quickly. Ball was pretty close to him. That's an outstanding save for him. It just shows you the value of Craig Gordon. He's still got it, like, you know, he's still one of the best goalkeepers around, and he's kept his team in it right there.
Yeah, very much so, because you'd have to feel that an Aberdeen goal, given Hearts are a man down and have been unable to really threaten Dimitar Mitov since going down to 10 men, but still one apiece as the sides are whistled back on for the second half of extra time here at the National Stadium. Remember, it's Falkirk Wraith Rovers to come at the conclusion of this one. We'll join commentary with Stuart Mitchell as soon as we possibly can, but of course we've got to see this semi-final out, and it may well be that we have to go through penalties as well, unless either side can find a winning goal over the next 15 minutes or so. Back come Hearts then, with Aberdeen already in position for the second half of extra time at the National Stadium. And Lawrence Shankland making his way slowly. What a shift he's put in as the lone striker effectively for all of the second half and all of the first half of extra time, since the replacement of Wilson and Kabangu following the dismissal of the Hearts defender Michael Steinbender at the end of the first period. So we're back underway, and it's going all the way back to Gordon, and he fires it forward looking for Shankland. It's won by Knooster, but headed down and picked up by Khartoum, who's battling away to try and retain possession. Knooster gets it clear once more. Birmingham just a little bit slow to react there, but Kent does well against Nisbet and wins possession back for Hearts. And here's Khartoum, whose legs will still be fresh, having come on relatively recently into this game, where he's just knocked the ball out of play over on the far side. Disappointing for Hearts. And still Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1. It's Clarkson, who's seen a lot of the ball and yet to really create anything from open play. He did provide that 1 minute of real quality of the delivery for the opening goal, finding the head of Papagay, whose header crashed down off the crossbar and onto the luckless Craig Gordon and into the net as Alfie Dorrington's gone down. Yep. And he's got a problem here, Willie. Not sure that he looks like he's going to be able to play
I don't think so.
any further part in the game.
No, I don't think so. He looks as though he's in some considerable difficulty. It is cramped right enough, so you know it might be that they can get that worked off. Referee over and they meet off out to give him the old toe up to the knee. I don't know, he's kind of a waving for a change, I think, Meetoff is.
Yeah. Aberdeen have still got one to go, Willie, so
yeah.
I mean, they'll be...
I think they've got a couple actually, because they get an extra one in extra time, don't they? So
yeah, but they brought on, they did not bring in Polvara, did
yeah, they did, but they've still got
so they've got one more
two
at least.
beyond that.
Yeah.
It looks like it would be Jack Milne who would replace him if he's required, and Jack Milne is indeed getting the bib off. So Alfie Dorrington's race his run here at Hampden, and young Jack Milne was not. He's young by our standards, but he's just
certainly
he's
young by my standards. So
he's still pretty. I say he's young because I think because he's inexperienced still, isn't he? Really doesn't. He's not played that many top level games as yet for Aberdeen, despite being 22. But gets a chance here on the biggest stage of all in domestic football at Hampden to come on, and he will see out the closing 13 minutes or thereabouts. Jack Milne alongside Mats Knuster at the heart of the Aberdeen defence, so we're hoping that most of the action takes place at the other end though, as Knuster picks up possession into the Hearts half, and he gets it back once more from Ockles, and then out to Shinnie, left hand side. Shinnie's done a lot of getting forward as Knuster has it once more, left hand side for Aberdeen, midway inside the Hearts half. Then Shinnie lifts it forward looking for Ockles to the byline, tries to pick out Dabag, but Halkett's there just ahead of him, and he gets it clear only as far as Shinnie though, left hand side. Beningami's with him, trying to prevent the cross coming in. He's done well, but has he prevented the corner? Yes, he has, and Hearts get it clear. The assistant on this near side having to make that call, but Beningami working hard as his teammates and he have had to do ever since going down to 10 to stay in the game. Here's Shinnie left hand side. It's Aberdeen doing the attacking once more, and it's Ockles coming in off that left hand side, plays it out to the right hand side to McGrath, who hasn't had a massive influence since coming on, plays it forward to Jensen. McGrath still available, here he is once more, right hand side, plays it back the way to Milne, his first touch, and he gets it square to Knuster, midway inside the Hearts half, advances slightly, then clips it in. McCart just enough, comes to Jensen, right hand side, it's cleared away as far as Clarkson on the edge of the box. Now it's Milne, again it's Knuster picking up, and out to the left. Hearts trying to get bodies across. Shinnie sends it in back post. It's Jensen. Cushion volley goes a few yards wide of that far post. That's another half chance there.
It's
passed up.
It's more than a half chance, isn't it? He's got to do much better. He can actually take a touch on that, but if he doesn't, he's got to show more confidence in his strike at goal. It's a weak effort from him. You know, the belief just simply isn't there. It's a really good cross from Graham Shinnie towards the back post, and he's at least got to test the goalkeeper.
It's similar to the Hearts goal. You know, Penrice has been dragged in there, has dropped it back, whereas Shanklin had the composure to take a touch and drill it through Dimitar Meetoff there. That time he just got in there and he's just side-footed it past the play. That's a big chance for Aberdeen.
Was he in two minds as to whether to actually go for a goal or try and pick out Nisbet?
No, you're not picking anybody out there. You've got to
just go for it.
You've got to go for the goal. It's an opportunity. Aberdeen have not created many clear-cut chances, but that's one. You've just got to make it. Even if he makes Craig Gordon save it like he did with Dabag, then fair enough, but he shouldn't be missing the target from there.
The fullback sending his effort well wide in the end. Here he is getting the ball forward to Dabag on the halfway line, back to Polvara, now Clarkson. We've played 110 minutes, 10 to play of extra time, still one apiece between Hearts and Aberdeen in this first Scottish Cup semi-final of the weekend. St Johnstone Celtic to come. Who will they face in the final? McGrath, it's a cute ball over the top, but McCart had read it. He's had a good game at the back for Hearts as Milne feeds it back in towards the back post. Shinnie goes up, tries to win it. He does win it, but he's headed it straight behind. And now Shanklin's going down, holding. I think he's.
That's cramp as well.
I thought it was his right thigh.
Hearts,
but
they've got to bring on. I would imagine they'll bring on Musa Drama. He could go up front. He's got pace to burn. Could give Aberdeen something to worry about if the ball over the top. But it would be a blow in terms of potential. If Hearts were to get all the way to penalties, Shankland would be one of the 5 you'd expect to take one. I think they'll try and give him every opportunity, but it may well be that Musa Drama has to get stripped. They've got potentially Forrest or Spittle, but I'd imagine if Shankland can't keep going, then the young lad will have to come on and do a shift for the team. But listen, you can see Hearts they put in an unbelievable shift so far.
He's really struggling.
They're struggling. He's going to have to go off. He's going to have to go off.
Yeah, he's just trying to run it off, but it's just not happening for Lawrence Shankland, who, as you say, has put in an incredible amount of running and effort up there as the lone striker. He's still wanting to persist, but he can barely move out there, Lawrence Shankland. Musa Drama is stripped. He's saying, no, I'm going to try and keep going, but
there's no way he's going now. I'm telling you, there's
like
no chance. There's cramp, and that's the one that you're thinking to yourself, if he takes one move, he's just going to collapse again.
Yeah.
You watch what happens here. The ball will get played forward. He'll try and run. He'll go down, and Musa will have to come on.
Craig Gordon takes the goal kick.
Yeah, he's not. There's no way Shankland's carrying on.
Play continuing though. Shankland still on the park, but barely able to get involved. Devlin goes down and buys Hearts another free kick in a good position. The change is going to come here, and Lawrence Shankland is going to have to make way, as much as he would have wanted to stay on to see out the rest of extra time, but he's applauded off. It looks like he will depart the club in the summer. Will he depart having taken part in a Scottish Cup final is the big question now. And Musa Drama will come on for the closing stages of extra time. We've got about 7 minutes left here as Hearts have a free kick in a decent position, left of centre, midway inside the Aberdeen half. And it's Khartoum to deliver it into the penalty area. It comes, won by an Aberdeen head. Penrice could make nothing of it, and Aberdeen will try and break up field, but Hearts have got bodies back, and again it's the hard-working Devlin who gets to it, but he's running to Dabag over there, and Nisbet gets it back to Dabag just inside his own half. Was he fouled? Will play allowed to continue anyway because Aberdeen's still in possession, and Polvara, who I do feel has made a difference in the Aberdeen midfield, gets it to Clarkson. Clarkson now for Jensen inside the box, back to Clarkson, blocked by Frankie Kent on that occasion inside the Hearts penalty area as Knuster with a clumsy challenge is penalised inside the Hearts half, still just outside the centre circle. Devlin getting himself needlessly involved. He's in a yellow card.
He's got to stay away from this. This is where Cammy, it's fine, but he doesn't want to get involved now. He's on a yellow. They've got the free kick. They've worked the free kick. They just take your time now. Get up the park, just keep knocking balls. I say, I wouldn't have been unhappy if John Beaton let that go, because Musa Drama is quick. There was a wee outside chance there that he could have been played through one-on-one with Milne, but as I said, Hearts are they're slowing it down. They're doing what they have to do. Listen, they're on their last legs. Beningame looks like he's got cramp. Penrice looks like he's got cramp. And bizarrely, Willie, every time Hearts have got a free kick list, they throw balls, they look vulnerable on the break. You think maybe leave one or two players a bit further back here, because that's twice Aberdeen have broken on them from a Hearts free kick.
Knuster showing the yellow card for that challenge as Craig Gordon takes the free kick from 20 yards inside his own half. It's won by Milne at the edge of his penalty area and just poked forward. No Aberdeen players up there. They were all back defending that free kick as Beningame just touches it back to Gordon, who launches it long. Kent stayed up there. He and Knuster challenge for the header. It breaks to Shinnie over on the left hand side, who feeds it forward for the bag just inside his own half. Plays it to Polvara now, driving Aberdeen forward. Kent tries to clip him, but he still continues. Polvara, he finds a nice pass. It's Oakles inside the box, back onto the right foot, saved by Gordon, stabbed towards goal by Dabag. It's cleared off the line. Hearts surviving just, but now they've conceded a free kick. And is that Devlin who's made that challenge? Because if it is, he could be on a second yellow here. John Beaton's waiting for him to get back up on his feet.
He went for his card.
Yeah. Another yellow has come out, and it's a red card for Cammy Devlin in the dying moments of 5 minutes to play of extra time, and Hearts are down to 9 men. It was a despairing challenge in the edge of the box.
All he's tried, he's cleared the ball. The Aberdeen player struck a foot and he's cleared the ball. He's come from behind him. I don't think there's much Cammy Devlin can do about that.
Off he goes, Cammy Devlin. The second red card of his Hearts career, and it couldn't have come at a worse moment, with his side looking to cling on for penalties. He's applauded off, and he has had a terrific game for the most part, but unfortunately for him, his tenacious and combative nature I mean, he doesn't actually see the player coming in from behind him as he tries to clear it, really, does he?
Try to clear it, that's honestly goodness.
That is pretty harsh.
It is, yeah.
He's just trying to clear the ball and the Aberdeen players come from behind him.
Yeah, this is a tasty situation though for Aberdeen, is it not? Wayne Clarkson got good history from this kind of a distance as well. But good play, Ockles down the left-hand side, you know, having the strike at goal, and another very good save from Craig Gordon, and the bag trying to follow up with a little toe poke into the back of the net was well defended again, and then obviously the incident that has produced a second yellow and a red card, and Leighton Clarkson, I'm sure will fancy this one.
Yeah, after last week you'd expect him to at least work the keeper again.
Yeah, it's him or Knooster over it, but it's Leighton Clarkson who steps up. It's off the top of the wall, the Hearts wall doing its job. 9-man Hearts now. Can they hold out for the next 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time? It's McGrath towards the end of extra time. Penalties becoming more and more of an impending reality. It's McGrath, right hand side of the box, low ball in. Oh, it's a brilliant save, it's into the net. Dabag looks at the linesman, the flag stays down, and Dabag might well have won it for Aberdeen with minutes to go. 9-man Hearts hit the canvas as Aberdeen have snatched it at the death. As Hearts 1, Aberdeen 2.
I mean, it's a very decent low cross, difficult one for Craig Gordon to deal with from Jamie McGrath, and he can only put it back into the path of the bag, and the bag is loitering there. I think he's in an onside position. It looked very tight. He makes no mistakes as he rifles it into the roof of the net though, and Jamie McGrath showing a little bit of quality there, and the bag, who has looked a threat inside the box, manages to get the last touch on it, which should be the winner at this stage.
VAR are going to check for offside. It will be touch and go, but Polvara, who just got a touch to the cross and helped it on its way to goal. Brilliant stop by Craig Gordon, but he could do nothing to keep out Dabag. Yeah, looks onside. That's all clear. So they're just making sure there was nothing else in the build-up that would prevent the goal being awarded, but it does look like Ode Dabag, who got a couple in the quarter-final against Queen's Park.
It's just extra numbers, extra bodies there that just in the box. The Cats can't stay with them. It's heartbreaking. The Hearts have put so much into this.
It's just that touch, isn't it? The Polvara touch that Craig Gordon can't deal with. He does as good as he possibly could, you know, by getting a hand to it, but it's that striker's instinct, isn't it? Just sniffing out the opportunity, and the bag does that and dispatches it extremely efficiently.
Blair Spittle's on for the closing minutes in place of Benny Beringame as Aberdeen come forward and look to put the game and the result beyond doubt. They lead by 2-1. We are 30 seconds away from the end of 120 minutes. I think there's going to be 4 minutes added on at the end, but Hearts down to 9 men after the second dismissal of the afternoon. Cammy Devlin following Michael Steinbender down the tunnel for an early bath, as it were. Not sure they have them these days, but 4 minutes added on as Dabag, the goal scorer, finds McGrath, and all Aberdeen have to do now is see this game out. They don't need to go anywhere, they just need to keep possession, which is exactly what they're doing right now as McGrath gets it back from Clarkson, and now Polvara, who thought he had the goal himself. Another instinctive stop from Craig Gordon, but he couldn't get it far away enough from goal, and Dabag was there to pounce for his 4th Aberdeen goal, and an absolutely priceless one. And it looks like Aberdeen will be back here at the end of May to play either Celtic or St Johnstone and look to end that wait for another Scottish Cup trophy lift, as McGrath has it now for Aberdeen. 2-man advantage here. The 1-goal advantage, 2-1 they lead, as Polvara and McGrath just knock the ball about between themselves on the right hand side, and it's really tough out there now for Hearts, John.
Yeah, it's a hard one for them because they've put so much into the game, and there's no doubt Aberdeen were wearing them down. Had a couple of chances for Dabag, but that one's a cruelty. I'm not convinced it's a second yellow for Devlin, and it's just pure numbers. Aberdeen got into the box, Polvara got in there, good snapshots, another incredible save for Craig Gordon. It's just dropped for Dabag, does what all good strikers do, he's knocked it in the back of the net, and it looks like Aberdeen are going to get over the line.
He's just sniffed out the opportunity, isn't he? And that's what a striker should be doing. He should be, you know, in an area where he thinks that he might be able to cause harm, and he certainly did that by getting in the end. Good save from Craig Gordon, because it was an awkward one for him. Couldn't do much more. I didn't think, you know, in these occasions you think maybe the goalkeeper can play it out wide, but I don't feel that was the case in this occasion.
Aberdeen coming forwards here with Jamie McCart forced into some last-ditch defending again, gets it forward as far as Spittle. It looks like Hearts' season is going to come to a really disappointing end. Going to finish in the bottom 6 for the first time since returning to the Premiership, and it looks like they are going to fall just short in this Scottish Cup semi-final. And not to rub salt in the wounds at the moment, John, but they are 7th at the moment, 6 above Dundee in 11th. Is there any danger of them getting dragged down into that playoff relegation?
They've got to keep an eye on it, that's for sure. You know, you can't take your eye off it. We've seen in the past across the city, Hibs got dragged into it from nowhere. So Hearts have got to be careful. I think one more win would just about do it. But this is a sore one for them today, because they've been very, very brave. They've dug in, they've realised what they've had to do, and it's harsh. It's harsh that they've lost the game, but ultimately that's football. Aberdeen have snuck it into death.
Yeah, and Neil Critchley will face more difficult questions, no doubt. But he couldn't really have done any more. As John outlines, the decisions have gone against Hearts over the course of the afternoon, albeit, you know, certainly the first red card call looks to be the correct one. The second yellow shown to Cammy Devlin, perhaps a bit more questionable. But they have given their all, Hearts, this afternoon. But ultimately it seems like Aberdeen have found a way. Uninspiring for the most part, Willie, but they'll take it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been a difficult afternoon for them. They haven't been creative enough, and it looked, you know, that they were causing themselves an awful lot of problems by their slack play and, you know, mistimed passes and just not linking well, and not showing enough creativity when they had the ball, and I don't think showing enough tempo in the game as well. But at the end of the day, if you take the tie, and that's the tie.
That's it done. The final whistle is sounded at Hampden, and it is the red and white hordes of Aberdeen who will leave here in jubilant mood as those in maroon and white traipse towards the exits in disappointment. Their season is all but over. As for Aberdeen, it's looking a lot more rosy, with a top 3 fight still to play out, and they will be back here on the 24th of May after eventually finding a way beyond what were ultimately the 9 men of Hearts. They took the lead in 18 minutes when Clarkson's corner was headed goalwards by Papagay onto the bar and down off Craig Gordon into the back of the net. Hearts, who'd started the better side, equalised through Lawrence Shankland, burying it beyond Dimitar Mitov. But then Hearts were reduced to 10 as Steinbender, just before half-time, was shown red for his challenge on Topi Keskinen, denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. The 10 men were resolute for the second half and held out into extra time. But as the minutes ticked down and as penalties looked to be an inevitability, Cammy Devlin was shown a second yellow with just a couple of minutes left, and then with penalties just about upon us, Craig Gordon denied Polvara from close range but could do nothing to keep out the rebound from Ode Dabag, who goes down as the Aberdeen hero of the hour. His goal from close range as he pounced to hammer it into the net. making the full-time scoreline in this Scottish Cup semi-final. Hearts 1, Aberdeen 2.
Football.